The following is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
The journey started for Sandra Schmirler in Brandon. From the proud curling province of Saskatchewan, she skipped this rink to their first Scott Tournament of Hearts title. The journey was underway. No one knew then this team would dominate the 90s. Back-to-back Canadian titles in 93 and 94, capped off with back-to-back world crowns. This season, a little older and a lot wiser, they once again find themselves at the top. Their journey brings them here to Bern, a city that feels just like home to them. They can do what no other women's team has ever done: win 3 world titles. Curling on CBC from the beautiful city of Bern, the capital of Switzerland, the Ford World Curling Championships. Today, in the women's final, Canada's Sandra Schmirler up against Nordby from Norway. And we are live inside the Alman Bern ice rink for the women's championship game. And welcome to Bern, a very historical city founded way back in the 1100s, and a fitting setting for today's women's final, because not only can Sandra Schmirler and her rink win their 3rd world women's title, which would put them in the history book, but so can Nordby's rink from Norway. They won back in the early 90s. Now again today, they, like Schmirler, are looking for their 3rd world crown. Now the city of Bern has not been a kind one to Canadian men's teams. This is the 3rd time that the World Championship's been held here in Bern, and on every occasion, Canada has failed to win the men's title. And of course, last night with Canada's Kevin Martin losing out in the semi-final, the jinx continues. But the focus today is on the women's game between Canada and Norway. And with their thoughts on the game, we're going up to Don Duguid, a 2-time world champion, and Don Whitman, 2 guys who pretty much forgot what spring was all about until they got here to Bern.
Yes, you're right, Colleen. Hi, everybody. And Don Duguid and I have certainly enjoyed the unseasonably mild weather during our strolls throughout this beautiful city. We've also been witness to some excellent curling, Don, particularly from the 2 teams in this women's final, Nordby of Norway and Canada's Sandra Schmirler.
Well, there are 2 teams, Don, that are very equal. If there's a more individualistic curler, it's Nordby. She likes to play for her last shot, and she generally makes them. So she's an in-your-face type of curler, and she'll get at you all the time. But from a standpoint of consistency, I love Canada's team, Don. They played great. 93-94 world champions, they're here again, and that tells you what kind of a team they really are. They're solid.
And Sandra Schmirler was saying as the week progressed, she saw definite improvement in the play of her team during the round-robin competition. Norway and Canada started round-robin play on Sunday, and it's fitting that the 2 best teams during a week of round-robin competition wind it up this evening. Colleen?
No kidding, Don. And when we come back to Bern, we're going to set the stage for our final game. Mark Lee will introduce us to Team Canada's Sandra Schmirler rink, a rink that combines curling with family.
The Ford World Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. By Labatt, Good Things Brewing. By CIBC, Seeing Beyond. And by AT&T. In a world of long distance, there is only one true choice.
Juggling a career and a family is a difficult thing. For many women, the decision to have children often means putting their careers on hold. But for the Sandra Schmirler rink of Saskatchewan, the baby boom of '96 signaled a comeback. 65% off.
Meet the precious little people from the baby boom of Saskatchewan, the year the Sandra Schmirler rink stepped aside to begin raising families. A personal detour it was, en route to raising their game to a 3rd Scott title. But mixing motherhood and high-performance curling is not as easy as it looks.
Right now, I'm not looking forward to going to the Worlds because I've made the decision that my son is not going to go with me. And I just can't imagine 2 weeks apart from him. You know, I think I'm going to be crying myself to sleep at night, you know, but I know this is the best decision for me and for the team. And, you know I can persevere and make it work, but it's just going to be really hard to be apart from him for 2 weeks.
Skip Sandra Schmirler and her husband are also doing some family planning. She's expecting her firstborn as well as her third world title. And that means tradition on the prairies has given way to a new expression. Behind every successful woman on this team, there's a good man.
It's a traditional idea that it's always the mom that has to be at home. There's nothing wrong if it's the dad that stays at home with them too. And it's not like we're away for great periods of time. This is just short spurts that we're out of the house and back with our kids and taking care of them and spending a lot of quality time with them. But there is a lot of pressure on women. There's a lot of pressure on women to stay home with them, to quit curling or anything extra. And we're finding that that's not healthy. That's not healthy for the women. It's not healthy for the kids if the mom never gets anything for herself. So we're trying to find that balance between having a social life and a sport and athleticism, and balance that with being a mom and having a good home life.
Family comes first, but along the way, sharing the joys and trials of parenting has turned this rink into an extended family.
We're so close, and we all are at the same stages in our lives, and we're all doing the same thing. We've lived our dreams together, and it does feel like if I have a problem, I could easily go to any one of those three for advice or help or support, and I'm sure it's reciprocal.
We're a lot like sisters, I think, when you really sit down and think about it. We can say a lot of things to each other, and it might not be complimentary all the time, but when it comes right down to it, we really care for each other as people. It's not just a teammate relationship we have. We're just generally fond of each other and care about each other. So it goes beyond just curling. It's I think, 4 women going through life together. We're all on the same kind of life path, and it's really fun to be able to share that with your best friends.
And there is Sandra Schmirler expecting her first baby in about 4 or 5 months' time. And those babies, by the way, will probably be future Saskatchewan champions. Now, we want to clarify a couple of the rule changes here at the world level. They use the 4-rock rule in international play, so not the 3-rock rule that we're all so familiar with in Canada. Also, 75 minutes aside to complete the game. And no timeouts are allowed in international play, so the only time a coach can talk to the team is at the start and at the end of the game. We are ready for the first rock of this women's world final. Now we're going upstairs to Don Whitman and Don Dugan.
And Colleen, Canada will have last rock advantage on this opening end. The Canadian team with the best record during round-robin play. They opened the competition with a victory on Sunday by a score of 5-3 over Nordby and her Norwegian rink. The only loss inflicted on the Canadians was in round 6 when the Canadian champions lost to Andrea Schopp of Germany. So the first rock of the game to be delivered by Kristen Lovseth. This Norwegian team is somewhat interesting in that they have 5 women on the roster, and they do rotate the 5th player into the lineup in every draw. Hannah Woods has participated in 5 of the matches during the week of round-robin competition. The changes are made at the lead and second position. The first stone by Lovseth comes to rest in the top of the 4-foot, and immediately that's the rock that Sandra Schmirler asks her lead, Marcy Gooderite, to remove.
Clean. Clean's good. Yeah, there you go, Mars. Shot.
An employee of Cooperators Data Services Limited in Regina. And as she said in the feature that we led off our program this evening with, she is very anxious to get home to her children.
Ice very nice here, Don. It's running about 24 seconds. Lots of curl, both of the from the outside in and from the inside out. So you can see a lot of rocks in play, especially with the 4-rock rule. But just ice conditions make it conducive to good curling.
Loveseth, a student at the University of Oslo, removes the Canadian stone. And that is the rock that Marcy Gooderite is taking dead aim on. I think, Don, the two sides will play it very cautiously, perhaps over the first couple of ends.
Well, they played on the outside sheets, Don, in the semifinals, and this particular sheet hasn't been played on for a while. So it might be a little bit stiffer at the start, a little bit heavier than what they're normally used to throughout the week. But you're right, they'll play the first couple ends, find out how much it draws, how much it curls, what the draw weight is like.
Marianne Aspelin, the second, did not play in the semifinal victory over the Japanese, but she is in the lineup for this championship game. She runs a youth club in Oslo for teenagers in the 11 to 18 year age bracket. The Canadian team, as we saw at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, wasting very little time in getting set to deliver the stones, and Joan McCusker right on target. Canada lies one.
Well, Joan McCusker does play really fast on. As a matter of fact, the other rock just comes to rest and she's in the hack and ready to throw, and she very seldom misses. She's been an excellent player all year, but all week here she's been outstanding.
Marianne Aspelin is participating in her 6th World Championship.
And interesting, she was the player, of course, who sat out yesterday, and she was anxious to get back in and have a crack at the final.
With that hit and roll, Norway lies one at the back of the button. And McCusker is going after that stone.
Joan McCusker is the fastest curler you ever want to see in your life. No sooner is the Norway rock completed and she's in the hack and ready to go. She's quick.
Canada defeated Denmark 5-2 in semifinal action. It was Norway 12-5 over Japan, and that's how these two teams advanced to this championship game.
You know, this Norwegian team is really on a little bit of a mission, Don. They lost in the semifinals last year to Marilyn Bodo on a cold draw to the forfeit by Marilyn, and I think they want a little bit of revenge here today, but they've got a very tough opponent in Team Canada.
Norwegian third Marianne Haslund is also a student at the University of Oslo. She will be going to the Olympics next year representing Norway. This team has been chosen already to go to the Olympics in Japan, and she was saying that she had fond memories of the 1994 Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway, when she worked as a waitress during the Olympic competition. Jan Betker hopes to be going to the Olympic Games as well. The Canadian team, the Schmirler squad, the first to qualify for the Olympic trials, the playdowns that will take place in Brandon the last week in November. So far, it has been a straight exchange of hits.
Well, what Norway's attempting to do here is make Canada waste their last rock advantage, maybe by Sandra Schmirler hitting and staying on the nose to score one, and that's exactly why they're playing it this way. And you know, when you only score one with the last rock, the opponent has really done their job.
Well, these are the only women's teams that have ever put together back-to-back victories. Doherty Nordby in 90 and 91, and Schmirler in 93 and 94. And the winner will become the first ever three-time women's world champion.
We certainly are seeing the two finest curlers in the world here today. I mean, they have been there throughout the entire 90s.
Bet you that feels good, huh? Good throws.
It's always nice to throw your first two rocks in the World Championship or in any game, because you want to get rid of the little bit of jitters that you may have. Settle down, get to know the ice conditions. When you make both your shots in the first end, generally that dictates that you're in for a good game.
Hold it in. Whoa, hold it in.
Doherty Nordby pretty much plans her vacation around these World Championships. She is a veteran of them.
9 times she has been here. As a matter of fact, you played her back in 1982, Colleen.
It was a long time ago, but she is a very, very steady curler.
And in contrast to what a Canadian champion must go through to qualify for the World Championship, in Norway, Doherty Nordby and her crew only had to win 6 games to get to the World Championships.
That makes it a little bit easier. Where in Canada, the Schmirler team, I'm sure, played at least 25 to 30 games and tough competition. Not that Doherty Nordby's weren't tough games, but in Canada, a little bit tougher, a lot more curlers. But curling is growing in Norway.
All the curlers have been very high in the praise of ice conditions
Other way.
here in the all-manned ice stadium.
Yep. Yep. Okay, that's good. Good shot.
It's a little slower going one way than it is the other. That's because the ice is thicker at one end than at the other end.
Well, it's a little bit faster at the end, but the temperature is the big thing. It's 6 degrees hotter at the other end, so it's just a little bit slower. And the reason for that, Don, is this used to be an open-air rink. So when it rained, they had to have drainage, so it was always higher at one end than the other.
Yes, when it was originally constructed, the all-manned ice stadium, in 1971, it was for the World Hockey Championships. And it was an open-air facility then. And this is the 3rd time it has played host to the World Curling Championships. The first in '74, again in 1979, and in 1997. In the previous 2, however, it was strictly the men's World Championship. Well, with Nordby rolling out, Sandra Schmirler will get an opportunity to simply fire it through and retain last rock advantage into end number 2. Nordby, with her final stone, really wanted to hang around and force Schmirler to make a play on it.
Well, that's right. You want to hit and stick, so you force the other team to hit and stick. There may be a chance the other team may hit it on the nose, take their point, and you've done your job. But Nordby was a little bit wide on that one. She loves throwing out turns, where Sandra, I think, prefers to throw the in turn.
And with the final stone of end number 1 making its way through the rings and to the bumper at the back, Canada will retain last rock advantage into end 2. Well, with a straight exchange of shots on the opening end, everybody but Doherty Nordby was scored at a perfect 100%. It was Nordby's second stone of the end where she was attempting to stick but hit and rolled out, and as a result she was deducted points for that miscue, but everybody else curled 100%. A little different strategy to start end number 2 as the Norwegians are looking for a stone out front, but it is going to slide just a little too deep.
Well, Doherty Nordby asked for that rock out in front, Don, and you're right. You want to get something started, but it slid into the house on the edge of the forefoot, and that makes Canada's job here very, very simple. Just simply take the rocks out. Maybe get a miss out of Norway and try and score 2 that way.
The stone delivered by Marcy Gooderite rolls out of the rings, and now Doherty Nordby asks for the center guard. She tapped the ice about 2 feet out in front of the 12-foot circle.
But you also tap the ice in the rings, Don, so it means if it's in, it's not bad, but out in front would be better. And if you play 100% in the very first end, you know, that's a great start. You know, it's a confidence builder for you. You know the ice, how much it curls, the weight, everything. Your team's making the shots. When you find all that out, then you try and do a little bit of gambling, get more rocks in play, and score some extra points. This ice has been beautiful all week.
Kirsten Loveseth, the lead, a 3-time participant at the World Junior Championship before hooking up with Doherty Nordby, has her stone come to rest in the forefoot.
And Goodright played a little bit more weight on that one, Don. The first one she threw, she hit and kind of rolled over to the side out of play. Threw a little bit more weight on the in-turn side and hit and stuck. So that indicates that her first one was maybe a little bit quieter than what Sandra wanted, or she maybe threw a little bit inside. Norway again resorting to the out-turn side.
Aspelin, the second stone, was with Nordby when she won the World Championship in Winnipeg in 1991. They defeated Julie Sutton in an extra end in that championship game. Schoolteacher Joan McCusker removes the Norwegian stone. Her husband Brian has been here enjoying the sights of the city and the curling action. And I'm sure it's very tense as he sits in the stands and watches this championship game unfold.
Hold it in. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the takeout game continues as Aspelin removes the Canadian rock. And almost before Sandra Schmirler can position the broom, McCusker is in the hack and delivering the stone. At the rate she plays, Don, they could use about a 50-minute clock.
Yeah, they play very, very quickly. Well, you know, there's only one rock in play, no guards to go around, so they're playing simple and wide open. As I said at the beginning of the game, that Dorothy Nordby wants Canada to take a point when they have last rock, and she's just going to play it simple and wide open, hoping that Sandra hits it on the nose, and then they will have advantage playing the next end, and they'll maybe gamble a little bit.
I mentioned this Norwegian team will be representing their country in the Olympic Games. They knew 2 weeks before the Norwegian Championships, based on their playoff format, that they would be going to the Olympic Games. So immediately the World Championships are over, they'll pretty much begin preparing for next February in Japan.
Well, that's a tremendous edge, Don. You know, they're a year away, a little over a year, not quite a year rather, from the Olympics, and that gives them a lot of time to practice. You know, maybe a little bit of weight training, physical training, dry land training. They'll be in great shape, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with at the Olympics.
And in contrast, the Canadian champions will be forced to go through a 10-rink playdown in Brandon, and that should produce some tremendously exciting curling the final week in November, and we'll have the championship games for you.
This is a good call by Sandra Schmirler. Don, she's played to a corner where there's 2 rocks behind the tee line, out of play, mind you. And the reason she went over there is that hoping that maybe that Norway would jam it on one of those at the back, and that's the way she'll score 2 points. That's a good strategy call. You know, I can't say enough about Sandra Schmirler. She has a great curling mind. She understands the game, calls the right shot at the right time.
But this Norwegian squad is certainly capable of making the shots. And Marianne Haslam not only removes the Canadian rock, but the shooter rolls into the 12-foot.
That was a great shot.
Jan feeling a whole lot better than she was earlier in the week when she had missed the 2 games plus 2 ends because of a pulled muscle. The opposite leg of what was bothering her during the Scott Tournament of Hearts.
Good shots.
Yes, during her absence, Atina Ford stepped in and took her spot in the Canadian lineup.
Just about, yeah.
Atina was the 5th player for this Saskatchewan team at the Scott Tournament of Hearts in Vancouver. She got an opportunity to play there as well.
That's right, on the last game she did. She never thought she'd get the opportunity at the Worlds. It was quite a thrill for her.
Don, you talked about Dorothy Nordby being a very flamboyant curler. She's a bit of a character as well. In her final game in round-robin competition, with 2 ends remaining, she left the ice and went and sat in the stands. They finished with only 3 members on the ice.
She wasn't feeling very well. She had a bit of a cold, she was saying, so she wasn't able to concentrate. She was being of no use to the team, and you can pull out of a game for illness like that.
I liked her terminology. I was doing nothing out there. I was of no use to the team. That's pretty good. You never get to skip admitting those things very often.
Well, she's very involved in curling. She manages a curling club, and she also plays a role in the ice making at her club.
Snow's hit.
Sandra Schmirler, back-to-back championships in '93 and '94.
And once again playing the in-turn. About a foot of ice, so she won't be throwing this very hard.
It's such an impressive record that this team has. I mean, to think they could have won in '95 as well, but wound up losing in the final. Here they are back again in '97, the best again.
Schmirler catches a corner of the Norwegian stone, loses her shooter in the process.
I think she's a little bit quieter than she wanted to be.
When Sandra was practicing today, she was worried about the weight a lot. She felt like she had to throw a lot heavier than what she'd been throwing during the round robin. She and Jam were out throwing for quite a while.
Nå kan vi hilse til Donna Hay, og så kan vi hilse til Barbara. Yeah, hello Barbara. Skal vi se. Alt som det alltid har vært.
Playing the in-turn draw.
Nordby was telling us there's as much of a 2-second difference because of the difference in the weight from one end to the other. 24 seconds going one way, 22 seconds going the other, which is a considerable difference that the curlers have to adjust to.
Det är bra. Jag är flinke vi.
Till det 20. Tycker jag bra. Och bra att ta det.
Ja.
One thing I noticed about Nordby's in-turn. When she goes out a little bit wider outside the forefoot for a draw, there doesn't seem to be much handle when it reaches the house, you know, and it just goes kind of sideways, comes off the hill with no turn. So she can really bury rocks when she has no turn. So we'll have to watch for that as the game progresses. If she comes around a guard in the center, it should bury big time.
Schmirler with his final stone of end 2, looking to hit and roll out and continue to hang on to last rock advantage.
Yep. 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 3. Hurry! Quick! Good. Roll it! Nice shot.
Mission accomplished for the Canadian skip. It's still scoreless after 2. Canada with the hammer going into end 3. Welcome back to the Allmand Ice Stadium in Bern, Switzerland, as we prepare for end 3 of this women's championship game. Norway and Canada, and for Nordby of Norway and Sandra Schmirler of Canada, looking to become the first 3-time world champions.
She's looking for this one to wind up a little bit shorter rather than coming into the rings, put it in the free guard zone, forcing Sandra to come around.
Vi kjører guard.
Ja, men nære huset?
Ja, gjerne det. Den var du strålende på kost.
This will be an indication of what Sandra Peterson wants to do here, Don, because that rock is just slightly off the center line. And Sandra's going right around it. So this will be an end with a few more rocks in it and some delicate shot making.
Lots of room. Looks good. We look good.
Well, they've had 2 ends to feel each other out, and now it's time to go for the gusto.
Coming down.
And it's a huge adjustment for Canadian teams after playing in Canadian championships with 3-rock rule to adjust to the 4-rock rule. As a rule, there's a lot more rocks than play.
Okay, again. Okay, nice bait, Mars.
Well, that rock took a long time coming over. It did move a considerable amount at the end, say about halfway between the house and the hog line.
Oh.
Yep.
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 Whoa.
She has to get past the guard. She just sneaks past and gets an inside roll.
That was great brushing from the two Mariannes as well as they brushed that down just perfectly. They're very strong brushers.
That's good.
And the nice part about that shot is that it stayed in the 12-foot. The only shot Canada has now, of course, is to draw around and try and get around not only the guard, but the one in the 12-foot.
Line's good.
And of course, if this were Canada, Sandra would be running up and peeling that guard up, but she can't touch it.
Weight's good.
Still got lots of room by the guard. They're going by the guard by a good, this one, a good 3 feet.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
They have to get around that second one, but it goes by that one by a good 2 feet.
Well, she's getting out there, and I must need less ice.
Well, Colleen talked about the difficulties that Canadian teams had with this 4-rock rule, but I think in the last couple of years, Don, they've adjusted much better to the 4-rock rule in international play.
Oh, sure. I mean, there's one more rock in play. You can't run them till after the 4th rock, Don, but it's basically the same, just one more rock in play. It doesn't alter the fact that you must make all your curling shots if you expect to win.
Again, looking for an inside roll, and they get it, but a little too far. The shot by Aspelin rolls into the open in the 8-foot, and quickly Schmirler positions the brush for Joan McCusker. She wanted to roll back behind cover, but it's still in the open.
There, but you're getting to there, and it's just not going. Try, John. Almost. Summer punch!
Hold it in. Nej, hold it in. Hold it in. Ja. Ja.
Norway lies too.
Lite grann, sorry.
The outturn runs really straight down there, Don, and if you're a little bit out, it'll run straight and not curl very much. The in-turn has a tendency to move about a foot, foot and a half when it hits the hog line. So there's a little bit better chance to hit and roll here for Canada with good sweeping, depending on your weight. Joan's throwing a lot of weight on this one.
She's got the shot stone, but the shooter is going to roll out as well. Well, I'm sure that all the grade 7 and 8 pupils at the Elsie Miranek School in Regina are watching the action this afternoon, and their teacher as she performs in the World Championship.
Big chance for Norway here, Don, to really pull that rock in around 2 guards. And that was the beauty of that one sitting in the top of the 12-foot. 3/4 buried. Now you can get another one in behind there.
Excellent shot by Haslam. This is only her 2nd World Championship, but she has participated in 4 World Junior Championships 3 times as a skip. So now really no alternative for Sandra Schmirler but to run the front.
That's right. She has to run the front because now there's 2 rocks in behind the center guard. She hopes to at least remove one of them. Well, that's bad luck more than anything. She made a perfect shot. They may have got it on it a little bit sooner, Don, and left it on the high side and made the double. At least removed one of them, but didn't work out.
Oh, shoot. Well, we just had to get on it sooner.
It was just bad luck for Canada. The front end, when they finished sweeping it, they kind of laughed at the bad luck of it all.
Bra räddning!
But Jan Betker did confirm what Don Duguid said, that had they jumped on that stone maybe just a fraction sooner, they might have been able to remove both those stones.
Kom igen, kom igen, kom igen, kom igen.
This rock is a long way out there. Starting to pull over now. The more they sweep it, they're trying to get it tighter to the ring so it'll curl a bit more.
Schmirler asking for the same weight from Jan Betker, and she is attempting to promote her own stone.
Well, if she hits it straight back, she'll be lying shot rock behind her own guard. So this is a big shot. She hits it on the high side, she'll take the other one out on the left-hand side. She can't hit it on the inside.
Whoa, roll it, Joan. Roll it.
That's exactly what happened.
Got it going. Okay.
She must have been a little bit inside when she let it go.
Well, no, it's not. Good shot. What happened to that one? It was a bit tighter than your first one. Oh, because that didn't react anywhere near the same. Shoot, bad break on your first one earlier.
Well, you heard him say a little bit tighter.
Yeah, let's get rid of the,
Det mye is? Marianne, gå inn så mye!
I know what you meant by that.
Ikke vær gniten.
Little less ice. She's calling down.
Enda mindre?
The Marianne has one, a little less ice.
Skal vi se. Guard.
Well, maybe we can ask Billy Sharpens, the former Billy Sharpens, now Billy Sorum, who is married to Christian Sorum, the former world champion, whether Don Duguid's interpretation was correct. She's sitting with Colleen.
That's right, providing me with some interpretation. How did Don do with his Norwegian, Billy?
Very good. Your body language is excellent.
Billy has played against this team a lot, so she's used to a lot of their idiosyncrasies and expressions right away and what it means quite quickly, and I'm sure Doherty's not that excited about that shot.
No, a little bit too deep. Of course, it's getting keener now. There's been a lot of rocks played down there, and now for Sandra, of course, she can play the intern, maybe make the double and get the roll.
Kan det begynne å bli litt lattere?
Hæ?
Det bremser noe voldsomt. Vi prøver bare å ta masse tider her, så ser vi.
Doherty's talking to Nordby, to Marianne, about the fact that the ice is getting just a little bit quicker now. It's a great chance for Sandra.
Well, it's a big break for Sandra, because if that rock stops out in front, she has no other choice but to run the front. But now she's got a chance to remove two opposing teams' rocks and maybe get a roll and be in good shape to score two if she makes a big shot.
She has last rock advantage on this third end. The first two ends were blanked.
They got to be conscious of the rock really taking off once it hits the hog line. It'll curl big time at the end.
Well, close? No. Close? Yeah!
Can she get both of them? No, the second rock will not roll out.
No, it's not good.
They should have been on it a little bit sooner again. They know it moves big time there.
That is not good. Nose is just suckered in there. Just hit that and roll in, or you can draw.
And it's beginning to look as though on this third end with last rock, Sandra Schmirler will be drawing against three.
She noses it.
Well, the trouble is, if she noses it, sits right there, Sandra cannot hit the rock and get shot rock. She may be forced to draw.
Hold it in.
Oh.
Whoa. Whoa. Weg.
Well, that's a bit of a break for Canada as Nordby's shooter is going to roll out of play.
Big break, let me tell you. That rock ran very, very straight. You know, in curling ice, if there's one big turn that swoops a lot, you can be rest assured the opposite turn will stay fairly straight. And that's the case there. The in turn moves big time, the out turn runs straight.
Jeg ser nå begynner vi å stå litt med.
And a big break for Schmirler, because now if she hits this one, she's going to get 1 point, but if she hits and rolls out, she's only going to give up 1. Whereas prior to Nordby's shot, if she had have hit and stayed there, she was drawing against 3.
Men det kan også kanskje skje litt på
Well, no.
Dino og Mariannes også.
Yeah.
Is that weight okay? It'll come up that much, eh?
Vi må I hvert fall ta et poeng.
Just getting a little reassurance from her for an end. Marcy and Joan. It'll come up there. She's asking them. And you know, that's very important. You think it'll move there? Oh, sure, don't worry, it'll come up.
The first 2 ends were blanked, and here on N3 with the last rock of the end, Sandra Schmirler is going to pick up a single point as she successfully removes the Norwegian shot stone for a 1-0 Canadian lead. It's about 13 minutes before 9 as night falls on this beautiful capital city of Bern, Switzerland, and we're inside the Allmend Ice Stadium where Canada leads Norway 1-0, starting the 4th end of this Women's World Championship game.
Line's good.
The cobblestone streets here are so gorgeous you would think you were still back in the 1100s.
Well, this city was founded in 1191.
Are we in? Hurry. All in.
And the Canadian team jokes that they only play in World Championships when they're in Europe. So they figure they don't have a prayer for next year's Worlds, which are in lovely Kamloops, British Columbia. They've always sort of struck out when it comes time to representing Canada when it's being held on Canadian soil.
Yes, the Schmirler rink has won World Championships in Geneva and in Oberstdorf. So it's this part of the world that they particularly enjoy coming to for World Championships play.
And they've made some terrific friends over here too, especially here in Bern.
Fin fart.
And nobody seems to want to gamble a bit here, just on misses, as we saw in the 3rd end. But now Sandra Schmirler asked for the first rock of the end from Guderite in the ring, so she wants to play it simple and wide open. Her strategy, of course, is to force Nordby to take 1 and then have it last rock advantage.
Had a girl, Mars.
Playing 5.
Shoot. Nice shot, Mars.
Marcy Guderite has husband Kerry here at the World Championships, and he, along with Brian McCusker, Joan's husband, have been doing some sightseeing and getting an opportunity to stroll throughout this beautiful city, except when the curling games are on, and then they're positioned in their seats, cheering on their better halves every moment of the way.
And a good shot by Kristen Loveseth on moving the play away from that side over to this side. And that's all part of the strategy game, moving the rocks around in the rings, giving the opponent different types of shots to play.
Good. Not a girl, Joan. Good shot.
Well, Brian McCusker is sitting in front of the coach, Anita Ford, the 5th player, Atina Ford, and the team leader, a familiar face to Atina's right, to the left of your picture, Lindsay Sparks.
Nice shot, Joan.
Whoa! Whoa! Hold it in. Yep. Yeah.
Bra.
Thank you.
The way this game is going, Don, 1 break could be decisive in determining the outcome.
Well, they're playing very, very conservative, and obviously they have a lot of respect for each other's ability. And I think if somebody ever scores 2 to go 1 up, you may see a different type of strategy being evolved. But for now, they're just going to play it simple and wide open. And
I would think now Doherty, with the opportunity to go front, will do it. Yes, she's calling for the corner guard.
and this is a good call.
Yeah, it is. She didn't want to gamble too much by going out front early, allowing Sandra to cap the 1 that she had in the rings. Now that there's nothing in play, she'll try to establish a corner guard.
Well, the game is even, you know, very, very close. Canada being one up. You don't want to take any chances early in the game. Maybe if it was the 8th, then you might try a little bit of a move, but certainly not in the early innings.
And it seems my experience at World Championship play is that all rinks seem to be at their best when they're playing Canadian teams.
Oh, no question about it. You know, there's two things, if you're a Canadian, Skip, that you don't want to happen to you. One of them happened to Martin of Canada, is you don't want to run into a hot skip, which Martin did, and you don't want to come up with a stinker of a game in the finals or the semifinals. And those are the two things that all skips worry about.
Even Joe McCusker was talking yesterday about how she felt a lot of pressure in the semifinal game. That was the game they didn't want to lose. They wanted to be in today's final with a crack at winning.
Well, they have a crack at winning, and they are currently in a 1-0 lead with 1 stone in play, and that's a Canadian rock sitting on the top of the 12-foot. And Marianne Hasbin, the Norwegian third, is going after it with the outturn.
Hold it in. Oh. Hold it in.
Yeah, I'm talking to Kevin Martin after his semifinal loss to Peter Lindholm of Sweden. One of the consoling features of the game was the fact he didn't lose it. Sweden won the game with some incredible shot making by Peter Lindholm.
Absolutely. I mean, we watched a lot of curling over the years, and he made 2 really difficult shots under very trying circumstances. One a freeze when the other team's lying 4, and a double kill going across the face past 3 of his own.
And as a result of that great curling by Lindholm, he and his Swedish teammates will be in tomorrow's men's championship game against Andy Kapp of Germany. And we'll have that game for you beginning at 10 Eastern time.
Extra style points for that one.
That means the game will be getting underway at 7 a.m. on the West Coast. And so for all you fans of Coronation Street, you may have to get up just a little earlier to watch your favorite program before the curling begins.
Okay.
I hope someone's taping the show for our producer, Joan Mead. She's a real fan of the program.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Bra spilt. Veldig bra spilt.
Spiller
Du
vi
så
på?
jo at det kølte.
Ja.
Men det køler mindre, helt klart.
Ja. Det virker som det er punkter der nesten vil stå, liksom.
Ja. Men også der ute kølte det mindre.
There seems to be a bit of a problem with the ice in the middle of the sheet. Sandra Schmirler was very attentive before making her way to the far end to throw.
Men gud, er feigt de spiller.
Should I point out that bird droppings have occasionally been a problem?
Well, there's a few pigeons in here and a few birds.
At one time, this was an open-air facility, and there are still areas in which the birds can gain access to the stadium, and the officials have been called out to clean up droppings on occasion during the course of a game.
So if that happens, don't be alarmed. Don't adjust your sets. It's just normal routine here in Bern.
Yep. Roll it. That's good. Good shot, Sandra.
Yes, indeed, an excellent shot by Sandra Schmirler. Canada lies 1.
I think we have to just about hit it.
Yeah.
Roll in.
Well, you talk about skips always planning well ahead. She just said, if Doherty Nordby hits us on the nose, what do I do?
We have to hit it, eh?
Do I hit it? Or do I draw to the open side? Draw to the open side ain't bad, but the danger of leaving it there, you're only about 5. The other team's rock is only about 5 inches in front of the green, the rings, and if they chip and get a chance to chip and roll it, they could score 2.
It'll be a long time before you're golfing in Winnipeg there, Don.
Yeah.
So that's a nice
Well, I'm
thought.
used to the green here.
Oh. Ja. Videre, kom igjen. Det er bra.
No
Well,
question in
decision is
Sands'
made
mind.
now.
Det hjalp litt, ja.
Now Canada, if they hit this on the nose, they will not be in the ring, so they have to get a little
Det
bit of a
hjalp
roll.
litt mindre is.
Ja.
We have more rings to work with because it's closer to center line, eh?
Coming across the face and going this way then?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we have a little more rings to work with, I think.
Yeah.
Touch more. A little more. Yeah.
A little bit more rings to work with. The rock is absolutely dead center on that line. There's enough rings on both sides.
Blast down a little bit.
Just a little bit of a roll she's looking for.
In the background, you see the time clocks. There is no second printout in the digital clock. So it can be a little difficult when you get down to the final couple of minutes as to really knowing exactly how much time you have left, but the time hasn't been a problem for either of these teams during the week.
Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Whoa. 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 Yeah. Yep. Hurry.
Well, she gets the roll to
a nice shot. That's what you call tall shot in curling.
Good shot.
That'll make you feel good when you pick the shot and the way you want to roll and you execute.
It keeps falling into my jacket. Falls off. Oh, well, you need to. Oh, because you don't have a belt in your hand either.
Norway looking to blank here on end 4.
Whoa! Come on.
Haslam unable to take Nordby Stone out of the ring, so it's a single point for Norway and a 1-1 tie heading to 5. As we get set for the 5th end of this Women's World Final, live from Bern, Switzerland, it's Canada and Norway in a 1-1 tie as Kristen Lovseth starts things off on end number 5.
Well, after taking the point that last time when she really wanted to blank, you can bet she should be putting this out front in the free guard zone and trying to get something going now.
Well, that rock is pulling far too much off the center line. That's like a corner guard, and that'll work to the advantage of Canada in this particular end because it's off the center line. It's not protecting the forefoot. Canada can go around this one.
Hey, bro.
And this particular end, going this way, playing the 5th end, the odd ends, Canada's really had a tough time burying a rock in there. They usually go by the guards by a good foot and a half, and rocks are staying wide open.
Got room? Weight's good. Think it needs it. Line's good. Line's fine. Hurry. Well, no, line's fine. Line's fine. Needs it. Okay. Line's good. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Quick, 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 hurry. Push hard. Oh, nice shot, Mark.
Marcy Gooderite a little tighter to that corner guard as she draws to the top of the 12. Canada lies 1.
Well, good communication there by Canada. You heard the front end saying it needs it, it's light, it needs it. And of course Sandra's asking for lying. She's saying, whoa, we got lots of room. Good communication between the brushers and of course Sandra Schmirler, the skip.
Lite roligere. Veldig rolig.
And you heard Doherty yell right away, hard. She's all over this guard. She may raise it straight back onto the Canadian rock.
Well, to this point of the match, Lovseth was the leading shooter as far as percentages were concerned. And as she pushes her own stone back into the rings, it becomes shot. She was curling at 97% until that last delivery.
And Kristen Lovseth at Don, she was just a little bit late, and I think she turned it inside the intended line, and that's the reason the rock was all over the guard. Big shot here for Marcia Gooderite.
No, never.
She's put it well outside the broom. She got to be careful so don't chip off the guard. Now it's starting to make a move. Boy, her weight saved her on this one.
Canada lies 2.
Boy, they never laid a brush to that one. She was a little bit fortunate there because she was well outside the broom.
Go well to get past that guard, eh?
And the nice thing for Canada is that it forces Norway to play the outturn down where the ice is running very, very straight, and the ice is a little bit heavier because there are not too many rocks played from the outside in.
Kom igjen! Vi drar nedpå!
This is shaping up to be, could be a big end for Canada if they make all their shots. Because Norway's elected to gamble and go around the center guard, try to freeze that one at the back. Pretty nice shot. Oh, that's a wonderful curling shot.
Almost perfect for Marianne Aspelund.
Nei. Yeah, I think so.
Whoa. No, never. Close. Yep. No. Yes. Whoa. Whoa. It's good, Joan. Nice shot.
Joan McCusker takes the same path and gets a bit of an inside roll. McCusker with a
Nice shot,
slight
Joan.
edge in percentage.
Came up nice, hey?
At second stone over Aspelund of Norway.
Big shot for Norway here. They have to almost pull to the face of that Canadian rock. And it has to move big time at the end.
Nice thing for Marianne, though it's pretty much the identical shot that she just threw. It's a little heavier, though.
She's still a long way out there. Now it'll start to come.
Den längre nedpå den. Det greit.
Canada still has the shot stone, but there are two yellow Norwegian rocks sitting behind it and to
Jeg synes det kom ut litt roligere, men han var samme farta. Eller var ja, nesten litt lenger.
I can play that. Just in there, just let's sock one in
Yeah, I think we got a draw in there. Yeah.
there. Light's fine.
I like it. Now, she might just draw in with the intern, but...
She wants to pull the rock in that general area. And if she gets it in there, Don, she's protecting her own. She'll be lying too. And the other two rocks belong to Norway, will still be exposed.
Make sure we're toppy, because if we're, she might just sock one in there with the intern.
Well, yeah, that's why I don't mind the double, actually.
Yeah, but then even her the hit and roll or the freeze in.
Well, she hasn't got the hit and roll.
We could throw the intern draw around there too.
Yeah, we could throw either. Intern draw is a little tougher because you have to get by this one.
Yeah.
You don't want to touch. Well,
No.
actually, touching that isn't bad, but then they sock one in there.
I think you're well protected on the intern side. So I think the outturn side is still the place to
Make
go.
this double with a little flip here.
Yeah, okay.
Well, as we saw at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, a lot of discussion regarding strategy involving Schmirler and Betker.
Double, little flip to there.
Yeah, but if we come in there and we don't... Yeah. She's always got that intern draw there. It's just not...
The only trouble with this shot,
Yeah.
if that she hits and stays right there, then it's going to be an automatic double for Norway, and they may get the inside roll. Even if they don't make the double, they may come on top of the other one.
Yep.
Meanwhile, when they were having the discussion, Doherty was back, waving to fans, smiling, having a good time.
That's not a bad shot. It would have been nicer if she had hung on the back of the 12-foot, but at least she's removed a lot of rocks behind the tee line. And that's a danger area for Canada. Too many rocks behind the tee line gives an out for Norway as the end progresses.
As Haslam delivers her first stone, Canada lies 2 on this fifth end.
Boy, they got to go hard on this one.
She's on the guard. Canada still lies 2.
Alternativ axilla. Alternativ axilla. Så guard.
I like the split the best. That opens that whole thing up back here.
I gather if I nose it, I won't be.
You like this draw?
Yeah, yeah, that's okay.
I don't mind that.
Why? Why, Joan? Oh, yeah, but... I don't, yeah.
I like this draw. Leave this here? Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Mars, going this way?
Top 8.
That's also a very good call.
Is good.
Because that rock at the top of the 12-foot is protecting shot rock behind the tee line. Now, if you put the rock in on top of the 4-foot in front of the tee line, you're forcing them to follow you in. So this is a good call. They're originally looking at maybe tapping the back and rolling in over to the right-hand side, but that would expose the rock behind the tee line in the 8-foot.
This team often decides by committee too. They kind of everybody gets into the decision-making process of what the best shot, and this one's a beauty.
Now it's got to dig in. That's a perfect curling shot. Absolutely dead in behind the center guard. Top of the 4-foot in front of the tee line. You can't ask for a better shot than that. Now, the only shot for Norway, they have to run the front. They have to open up. They're going to try and make a double here.
Canada has last rock on this 5th end with the score tied at 1. She drove it straight back. She was looking to raise it back onto the rock at the top of the 4. Canada still lies 2.
Ja.
Same thing? Little farther out's good.
Hva er det jeg skulle si for noe?
Okay. I'm going to take a touch more ice, okay?
Jo, den til Christian.
We had about there. Let's go to there.
She wants to pull this rock top of the 12-foot. Half in behind that long center guard. But the danger rock is that rock on the right-hand side belonging to Norway, Don, because they could promote that maybe with Nordby's last rock or her first rock.
No, line's fine. What do you got? What do you got? Hurry.
You're yelling coming down big time, and they're sweeping hard. The Well, that's a great shot.
37-year-old Jan Betker has made 2 excellent shots on this 5th end. Canada lies
3. 2 beauties. Great
you got that right, 2 beauties is right. The only trouble with making those 2 great shots, it leaves Nordby with only 1 shot, Don, and we pointed it out before here.
You just threw, if she does.
That's this rock here. They can come and drive it into this area here.
If she nails it perfect, we can always peel it.
It absolutely ruins a perfect end. And Nordby's just going to play draw weight.
Like practice?
It's
just that little positive 3 stuff?
Yeah.
This is a big shot. This could be the difference between Canada getting 4 maybe, or 1. A huge shot by Nordby. We said at the top of the show, she has a flair for the dramatic. She likes to make the big shots herself.
Whoa!
Oh.
Well, that isn't what she had intended. Canada still lies 3.
Nah, the rock really pulled too much, Don. She never took enough ice.
Jo, men farten var egentlig grei nå. Hvis den hadde kørt litt mindre.
Hadde litt mye fart, det.
I think we got to give her that.
Ja, ja.
Did the outturn freeze?
Men han hadde vært løsere, så hadde kørt.
It's hard to hard.
She has 2 choices. She either has to block the outturn draw or block Norway's chance to draw it onto this one in the back behind the tee line.
Playing the outturn? Here? What you thinking?
I don't like that either. I guess we give her that.
What do you like? Either?
I like you to throw it because you two shoot really nice ones.
They seem to be having a lot. Of course, when you're lying 3, it's kind of fun.
Just up to here.
That wasn't a bad line. I'd prefer you to throw it because you threw two beauties.
We want it in the rings. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you the nice thing about it.
Corner close to that one is good.
Is there's that element of doubt in Nordby's mind because she's just trying to angle raise one, and she knows it moves big time.
Yeah.
So she's going to have to maybe take more ice to play the wide out turn.
You know, for her.
And maybe a little bit heavier on that side.
That's what I gave you for your second one.
The worst case scenario for Sandra here is that she leaves this rock on the edge of the
Same shot as
forefoot
Jan had.
open for Nordby maybe to tap it and roll in behind cover, even if she's only second or third shot.
Well, she's ignoring, like what she's going to play is the in-turn freeze is what. So we're saying let's take it away from her. Out-turn cold draw, she's got to make it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go.
Want to be full 12 here. What's the weight?
Full 12, that's where she
Positive
wants
3?
it.
Yeah, you can't prevent everything
No,
the opponent will do.
No.
Okay. But not as keen as yesterday.
And that rock behind the tee line, that's the one she's trying to protect because she doesn't want Nordby to draw down and freeze to that one, and she'll only end up getting one. So she wants to
Touch
protect.
more, Jan. Yeah, we don't want to cut too far for light.
Just keep it right on the edge of the forefoot, biting the 12-foot. That's the line she wants. The weight just top of the 12-foot.
Line's okay.
Boy, is she.
Line's fine.
Okay. Weight's like what?
Whoa.
Whoa.
You can.
Whoa, then.
She's got lots of weight.
Whoa. No, it can't be deep here.
Should come over on the other blue one.
Whoa. Yep. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Not bad. Huh. That's pretty good.
Cut a little too much.
It did move a little too much, and
Nice, eh?
Nordby now is going to try to freeze to that stone at the back.
And when you're a perfectionist like Sandra, 2 inches does make a big difference. This is a hard shot for Nordby.
That's where Nordby wants to put it. There's lots of room between the rock and the full 12-foot and the one behind the tee line. And that's the danger when you have rocks behind the tee line. The only out Nordby has here is that if she can corner that rock, then she's going to hold Canada to 2.
But if she doesn't make the shot, this game could be all over.
Well, it's only the 5th end, but a 5-ender in the 5th end is a pretty convincing lead. And you know, once you're way out there, it stays out there a long, long time, then walks over at the end. See, and they're waiting for it to curl like she's a long way out.
Come in. Come in. Out.
Well, it didn't move.
Canada lies 4. And a free draw for 5. And you know, in Dorothy Nordby's defense, Don, she played an out-turn draw or tap back, and then she had to go to the in-turn.
Same weight out here, eh?
She took a little bit more ice, a little bit heavier there, and they had to leave it for line, and she pulled up short.
Okay, let's go.
And isn't this a nice position to be in, drawing for 5?
Yes, and this stone could provide the Canadian team with a big step
Same weight out
towards etching their name into the Women's World Championship record book.
I mean, you're quite delighted to get 4 in a World Championship final.
4, bite the 8.
But 5, that's pretty nice.
Well, if she can bite the 8-foot circle, she'll get 5.
Same weight.
And this end really was set up by the 2 great shots by the woman holding the broom, Jan Betker.
Oh, yeah. 2 great come-arounds.
Oh, wait.
Line's fine.
Line's fine.
Just full 8-foot, guys. Full 8.
Line's fine.
No
Just
backing.
wait.
No
Full
backing
8.
at all.
Full 8.
Can't hurt it. Can't hurt it. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, that's good. Good shot.
Count 'em.
5 blue ones on end number 5 as Canada takes a commanding 6-1 lead. Schmirler in total control.
Well, it's getting a little bit darker here in lovely Bern, Switzerland. Getting darker for Norway still, with Canada with a commanding 6-1 lead after 5 ends. Canada scoring a big 5 in the 5th end. Nordby, skip of Norway, is with me now. We were just saying, is there one rock you'd like back in that 5th end? And you said...
all of them.
All of them, but really, is there one in particular that if it had just come a little bit more like your first rock there, just over curled, just a hair?
Yeah. Right now my sweeper is swearing, I think.
Oh, don't think so. But did you think your last rock, you were saying you thought it might have picked, or at least your front end thought it might have picked up something?
If it didn't pick up something, it was froze to there. It just stopped. They shouted it was okay speed, and then it just stopped.
Well, the nice thing about 4 rock rule is that you're never out of a game. What are you planning for the rest of the way? I guess a lot of rocks in play.
Now we have to use the free guard zone.
That's right, because really we haven't seen it that much, except for last end. But anyhow, good luck the rest of the way. We're looking forward to talking to you at the end of the game, and I'm sure you're still going to make quite a game of it, Doherty. You always seem to. Right now we're going upstairs to Don and Don with their thoughts on the first 5.
Well, thank you, Colleen. And Don, Doherty Nordby is certainly capable of coming back, as we have seen this week, and she won 2 world championships by not giving up. But a 5 rock deficit is big with only 5 ends remaining.
Well, it really is, you know, and they talk about the great shots by Jan Betker that end, her 2 shots. But it started out with Norway that particular end, the 5th. Her lead through it, and it came off the center line. Goodright went right around it, put it on the 12-foot, and that really started that end for Canada, and they just played flawless.
And then Jan Betker made those 2 great shots, and that really set up the end. And Sandra Schmirler, with her final stone, was able to draw in for the 5th point. How does Canada play now defending with a 5-point lead?
Well, I think they either put it in the rings or throw it through, but I think they would put it in the rings. Nordby, of course, will throw up a lot of corner guards. The unfortunate part for Canada is you play defensive for the last 5 ends, and sometimes that is a little difficult.
Well, I'm sure things are a little more comfortable right now for Sandra Schmirler, and she's standing by with Colleen.
And here's Sandra's reaction when she draws for a big 5 in the 5th end to take a commanding 6-1 lead. You look kind of relieved, Sandra, at that point.
Well, the team had made such great shots, and I didn't have tough ones, and so you definitely want to make that extra point. It's a big point when in a game that's this close.
And I remember talking to you the 5th end at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, and you weren't the same person, you know.
Well, I made more shots in the first 2 ends here than I did, I think, in the whole game at the Scott. So, yeah, the team has been playing really good in this game and pretty good all week, so we're confident now, but we know Doherty is a great team. They're going to come after us, so we're going to have to play hard.
That is the thing. How do you defend the 5-point lead now with a 4-rock rule? It's pretty tough to do.
Well, I guess the best defense is a great offense, and that's what we're going to do. If we have a chance, we'll go after. Just about have to.
Terrific, Sandra. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll talk to you at the end of the game.
You bet. Thanks, Colleen.
All right, Sandra Schmirler in her Canadian rink looking for their 3rd world title. They're leading Canada, Norway, 6-1 after 5 ends.
Strolling the terraces behind the Parliament buildings of this beautiful city provides a visitor with a panoramic view of the Swiss capital. And right now, Canada capitalizing in the 5th end with 5 points for a 6-1 lead, in control of this Women's World Championship game. Teams struggle with last rock advantage so often, Don Duguid, to get 2 points or maybe even 3. 2 more is a real bonus.
Oh, there's no question. The only difficulty is that you scored in the 5th end. Now you got to play defense for 5 ends. But Sandra said in the interview with Colleen that the best defense is a good offense, so she's going to go right after her all the time. I always like scoring my 5 ends in the 9th end when I'm at least 2 up. Then I feel really comfortable.
Well, the thing for Doherty Nordby now, too, is that she has to go all out aggressive, and then you've really got to come up with the big shots. And she herself has been struggling just a little bit, so
well, you know,
her confidence might be off a little bit.
I go to the fact that she had to play an out-turn angle raise and then go to the in-turn, and that's always difficult at the best of times.
Push hard. Shot, Mars. Good.
Now, Nordby, I think, will throw up lots of corner guards. She'll ignore the rocks in the house and try and get something started on the edges where she's going to generate some offense and hope maybe to get a mistake out of Canada or a half shot and score at least 2. She gets 2. She's not in great shape, but at least she's making a run at them and hopefully hold Canada 1 and then get another 2 and so on and so forth, at least she gets within striking distance.
Well, interestingly, in that last end, I mean, you said it right off the bat, when the Norwegian lead was playing a center guard and she pulled it over too far. I mean, that was really the turning point at the end, putting up a corner guard, allowing Canada to start getting around it.
Det bare å ta to og så litt sånn, men da kan vi spille litt gøy og dra litt garder og litt sånn. Det er absolutt ikke umulig å ta igjen, altså.
Nei.
Canadian lead, Marcy Gooderite, with her second stone of this sixth end.
It's okay.
Well, she played so well in the Scott final, Don. She was named the most valuable player at the banquet that night. But, you know, she had only started curling about 6 weeks before the Scott Tournament of Hearts because she had taken time off to give birth to her son.
Yes, her son, Colin. And she is anxious to return home. I'm sure counting the hours until she returns to Regina. And this Canadian Women's Championship team will be heading back home. They'll arrive in Regina around 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
Da tar vi en dit. Ja. Stopp her.
Må treffe nå.
There's the corner guard that Doherty Nordby's going to ask her team to go around behind.
Jeg tror den stopper, skjønner du.
They were trying to get a little rough there, but it just...
Yeah, maybe a little bit miscommunication on the sweeping.
Curled a little too far for them at the end.
Now Sandra Peterson knows the corner guard is the danger guard in this particular end, so she's going to try and get rid of it so that Norway can't go around behind it.
Whoa. Jesus. Okay.
And a break for Norway.
It's open now, Leo. I guess we can open.
They're going to need a lot of those breaks along the way to rally.
It takes a couple of half shots to get back in this game, and there's one of them. There's 5 rocks been thrown and 4 are in play, so every rock in play is a bonus for Doherty Nordby and her team. The more rocks in play, the more things can happen.
You know, when I was playing Sandra at the Scott, they are a great team with a lead. They got up on us, and they're very, very good at just hitting away and picking things out clean. They're a dangerous team at the best of times. They're very dangerous when they get a lead.
Well, the only blemish on their record during round-robin play was an 8-5 loss to Andrea Schopp of Germany.
Pretty straight here.
I like this call by Sandra Peterson. A lot of people might say, well, why didn't she run that one that's in the top? That could be a dangerous rock. But it's kind of covering all the corner off, so that's why she's leaving it there and taking out the rocks at the back of the ring.
Hurry! Okay, good shot.
Canada lies 3.
Nordby was looking at that, playing exactly the same shot, but that rock would be just in the 12th, but if she makes a head-on contact. I think she's got to play the one that she's playing, hit and roll behind the rocks on the right-hand side. If I was Nordby, I'd just play downway, just maneuver the rocks around, but look for the roll at all times. I don't like big weight when I'm down 5 points.
Come in.
Looking for more of an inside roll that doesn't materialize.
Yep.
And now Sandra Schmirler would like to get the same roll. It's one of the dangers with a lot of rocks in play when you're down by 5 points. A couple of miscues and you could be down even more.
Well, that's the thing. You have to make perfect shots now. You have to be awesome. And we've seen that. Sweden ran into trouble in one of their games against, I think it was Germany, where they had to start getting very aggressive and gamble even more. And the more they gambled, the worse it got for them. They just weren't making the great shots like Jan just made.
Yes, Jan Betker on end 5 and here on end 6. Superb curling.
Well, you know, we said at the top of the show that the Canadian team is a well-rounded team. They're strong at every position, and that has to be when you get to the World Championship. And they're really taking it to the Norwegian team here in this game.
Marianne Haslam, the Norwegian third, the youngest curler at 23.
But one good shot can get you out of the end, and this is not a bad shot by Norway. A little bit deeper than she wanted.
This is only her second World Women's Championship performance.
Roll out of here.
But 4 times she was at the World Juniors.
Throw up, wait.
Sandra just trying to keep it open.
Move there.
And just has to hit half a rock here.
No! Whoa!
Boy, she threw a ton of weight on this one.
No! It's okay. Good, Jan. Atta girl. Shot.
A little anxious moments there for Sandra. She thought she threw it really a little bit too strong.
Yeah.
So walked right across, even with that weight.
Good shot. Are you done?
Back thing back there.
Are you done already?
Yeah.
What'd you do with your first one?
No,
oh, okay.
Hey, that stupid one of Jones.
Pay attention, Sandra.
You have to get her one of those clickers.
Bra retning!
Ja.
Kom igjen!
Bra retning.
Bra retning! Veldig fin retning! Kom igjen! Kom igjen! Nei, nå står den.
Oh.
La den gå. Dra på frys. Kom igjen! Kom igjen!
Well, they would have liked that one a little bit around the corner guard a little bit better because it's fairly open.
Europeans are a very high-fiving kind of. You see it a lot from all the European teams, especially Norway and Denmark. Sweden.
Just normal. I don't need to throw this too hard. Right? Is that okay?
That's what Sandra's looking at.
Yeah, we can't make the double here.
No, just a nose hit.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, she hits it going across the face of it. She might spin it out past that one on the back of the 12-foot. But even if she hits it on the nose, it's a good shot, Don, because it'll be tough for Nordby to get the Canadian rock out past her own. Because there would definitely be one left in the back 12-foot, back 4-foot.
Just normal. I don't need tons of it.
Turn your watch. Turn your watch.
Sparkle on my face.
It's sparkly. Her watch was sparkly.
The watch they're talking about are their brand new Rolexes, which was the new prize for them from Scott Paper for winning a 3rd Canadian title. The first prize you get for winning a Canadian is the ring. Then they put a massive diamond in it. When you replace the diamond, they put a massive diamond in for your second time. Then they give a Rolex for the 3rd time.
Well, the glint off that watch band
Oh yeah, I didn't. What? I know.
was causing problems for Sandra as she settled in the hack.
Because if she gets inside wall, this should be open.
Right? She might just knock that 7 right onto it, the 8. Right?
Well, she's drawing.
Frys ned på den der. Retningen er
Nordby's actually playing
mega
2
viktig.
shots here. She'd like to come down and kind of corner freeze it, Don. Enough so that there's an angle that she may drive it out with her next one. But if she doesn't get shot rock, there's a good chance Schmirler will guard that one, and then it's going to be really difficult to get out. But it all depends on what position this rock ends up. That'll dictate what kind of shot Sandra Schmirler will play.
Bra retning. Lang gå.
Hvor lang?
She's got a lot of weight on this one.
Nå kommer den.
Oh.
Kom igjen. Kom igjen.
Oh, good shot. That's a great shot. She could actually come over a little bit more and drove it a little bit further back, but that's a good curling shot. And that rock took a long time to come over.
Ja, han var litt lang.
Litt lang.
Ja.
Those shots.
Real fan.
Oh yeah, I think we should play it. So if we play the hit and roll, and chances are I'll probably nose the darn thing.
Okay.
Okay? It's the same shot you had, right? Play it thin. If we hit onto the 7.
Oh, there's no hole there.
No. No, I'm not worried about the hole.
No. It's really thin, though.
Yeah.
Is that enough ice?
Ja, men de mener at plukka.
Ja, det er I hvert fall stoppet på ri.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it up a bit.
I think you need more.
What? Play the thin double, or like we can roll onto ours.
Ryker begge nå, da.
Thin double's about a quarter stone.
Ryker begge, eller skal vi tenke på
Just want to make sure we get a roll over there.
You're looking at the thin double she can make, or even if she hits half a rock on, she can roll over in front of those
Throw it
two.
up a bit.
It'll be tough for Norway to get more
we
than
miss
one.
is if we overcut, so might as well get a chance. This will move that much, eh?
Making sure of the ice.
Not going to go crazy, just...
Not going to go crazy, meaning she's not going to overthrow it.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yes! Hurry! Quick! Quick!
Oh, not bad. Oh, boy, when you're hot, you're hot.
And again, Dordy Nordby is looking at 4 Canadian stones as she gets set for her final rock.
Good shot. Way to go.
Good shot is right. Good brushing. Look how she hits this one. She hits about a quarter of a rock, spins, hits the other Norwegian rock, comes off her own and spins forward the edge of the forefoot.
Super duper.
Super duper is right,
Thought you were
Jan.
going to spin up, eh?
Yeah.
Well, as I
Just
suggested
touch this
earlier
one.
on this end, when you're trying to fight back and there are a lot of rocks in play and you're trying to pick up 2 or even 3, there is always the danger that the opposition could score big. And that is the possibility facing Dordy Nordby with this final stone of N6. She's looking at 4 Canadian stones.
Oh.
How's the weight? Will it dig in? It will hang at the back of the floor. So under pressure, Dordy Nordby with the final stone of the end picks up a single point. It's 6-2 Canada after 6. Well, Canadian champion Kevin Martin and wife Shauna would have much preferred thinking ahead to a gold medal game tomorrow, rather than being spectators for the women's championship game this afternoon, but that was not the case when they bowed out in semifinal play to Sweden. So as a result, they are sitting here in a, I guess, somewhat relaxed frame of mind watching this women's championship game and providing the support for Sandra Schmirler and her Canadian women's champions. But it was disappointing for Kevin Martin, the second opportunity he has had to win a men's world title and the second time that he has lost in his quest.
They couldn't have come up against a hotter skip in Peter Lindholm from Sweden. He just made absolutely everything and perfectly. It certainly felt badly, but Canada played well.
And this particular end, the 7th end, is starting out exactly the same way that the 5th end started out. Norway rock pulled over off the center line.
Oh, perfect. Great shot, Mark.
Marcy Gooderite puts it in again, and the game is on. And I think if I was Dordy Nordby, I wouldn't leave such high guards because there's lots of movement at that end of the ice, and you can miss the guard by 1.5 feet and still end up buried, as Marcia Gooderite just finished.
Well, Kristen has certainly had some trouble putting her guards in place. You know, 2 ends ago she overcurled, and then in the first 2 ends she was always coming into the house as opposed to just a nice tight guard.
Den er på.
Er den inn?
Wise, ta den. Og ta den.
Nei, gjerne guard, gjerne guard. Ja, den stopper også, den. Nei, det gjør den ikke. Stopp da. Det er bra, det.
Well, I think Nordby wanted that stone to come up short of the ring. She was pleading with it to stop because the rock is touching the rings and Canada has the option of removing it.
That or we do this?
That's right. That rock is biting the 12-foot, so she can play it.
I don't mind playing this. What? You don't mind playing this? We don't want to hit it high. That's okay.
She'll be icing it tight anyway.
She's icing it tight, but if she rubs the front one and it goes out of play, it is replaced. Being the 4-rock rule in international play, so.
No. No!
They're by the front. What a shot by Marcy. Got it right.
Ah, that's just a great curling shot, let me tell you. Perfectly controlled weight, just pushed it out of the rings. Got a little bit of an inside roll to protect her one in front of the forefoot. And the end is on again. And it's all set up by two great shots by Marcia.
Great shot.
I guess.
Fin fart. Yep. 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 Fart. Yep. Yep. Come in, hard. T-fart. Yep.
Whoa. Oh, and a good shot here by Marianne Aspelin. Just a great shot.
She nudges the Canadian stone a little deeper into the floor.
And a good call coming up by Sandra Schmirler. She's 4 up. She's playing the 7th end on, and she's running off the center guard, and this is a good call. She doesn't want to be fooling around playing finesse shots around long guards.
Hurry! Okay. Good, Jones.
Atta girl. Great shot, Smarts. Atta girl.
And that's a great shot by Joan McCusker. She can afford to hit it straight back. Removed it. And they're much easier making contact with rocks that are close to the rings as opposed to long guards. And that's just a great shot by Joan McCusker. Two great shots by Marcia. And they're making very difficult for Norway to get back in this game.
We talked at the beginning of the game how this Norwegian team alternates the front end. So Marianne didn't play yesterday, and now here she is today playing second stone. And Kristen, who played second stone yesterday, today is playing lead. Well, now you have to kind of look at maybe how the chemistry changed from yesterday to today.
Well, Aspelin has made a couple of fine shots on this end. The Norwegian squad hanging in there.
You know what I would do? I'd still run the front one here. You're up 4 points.
We can run that back if we have to. Yeah.
I can better throw it quiet, though. We can't hit it high, hey?
Just a nose.
Right on the nose.
She can hit it on the nose. It's a good shot.
And we're throwing.
It's not even a bad shot to pick that and go in here.
Absolutely right, Sandra.
Do you want normal?
Doesn't matter.
Throw house weight. House hit weight.
House hit weight, Joan McCusker. Doesn't matter to her. Give me a shot. I'll throw it.
No.
Well, Joan McCusker is a teacher at the Elsie Marinek School in Regina.
No.
Oh, she didn't want to do this.
Oh, she drove it onto her own.
She could not afford to do that. If you do anything, run off the guard. Don't drive it back like that.
And the students at her school made this banner that is hanging here in the Allmand Ice Stadium, and they signed all the maple leaves, and that's their way of providing support for their teacher and the Canadian Women's Championship team.
Every class sent good wishes and signed it, and they're certainly behind her. They had a nice surprise celebration for her in the gym one day and presented her with that. She was very touched.
For Marianne Haslam, a big shot here. I wouldn't be too concerned if it came into the rings, even if it offers a little bit of protection out in front. To kind of pick away, score one here, maybe two if you get a chance.
Balangan! Balango! Barover! Oh!
Oh!
Whoa! Abra!
We're in big trouble here. We gotta try and
peel the 5?
I think you peel here.
Double peel those, I guess.
They're a long ways away. You just about have to nose that top one to double peel.
Okay.
That's what they're looking at. And I think it's a good call. Even if you remove both those guards, that means that Norway cannot protect both those rocks in the house. There'll be one corner showing either one side or the other. I think you got to run it. This is your third first rock, and I think you waste the first one.
Well, freaking off, terrible. Split that front blue one on. But then they.
No, that might give us a couple options.
Yeah.
Or we could peel the yellow.
Peel the yellow.
If we split that front blue, she might just sock another one in there. Can you see enough of that one to pick it?
No, but if I pick our own,
that's not good.
Run the front one, Sandra.
I think we better run that top yellow one. Just peel it off there.
Straight peel?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good call.
There hasn't been the crowd support for these World Championships that the Swiss had hoped for, primarily due to the failure of the two Swiss teams
the next one that maybe we'll
to
have
be
to run
contending
back or,
teams
come around to the outside one.
At both the men's and women's level. Back in 1974 and 1979, when they had crowds of 11 and 13,000 in here for the final games, the Swiss teams were in contention.
Yep. Quick. Well. Yep.
Roll it.
It's good.
Boy, a little bit thicker, and she makes the double peel on the front two rocks. Now for Nordby, she has to be patient here. Play exactly the same shot. Keep kind of firing at those front rocks. The big thing, you have to be patient in this game. She's got two pretty well sewn up here. As long as she keeps protecting them, because they're both in the forefoot and tough to get at.
Kom igen!
Yep.
Kom igen! Kom igen!
Ja!
Kom igen! Kom igen! Pass! Kom igen!
Kom igen! Kom igen!
Kom igen! Litt til! Det är bra.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake, bringing that guard in that tight. You leave it out where the other one is, at least there's a less danger of them running both the guards. By coming in tight like that, it's very simple for Canada to run these both off and roll their shooter off.
Det är bra. Ser den gule Schmirler ned på den blå till venstre.
No, we got to play the double peel, Sandra.
Jams on that.
So that doesn't matter.
Okay, 3 matters to me.
Well, they can't guard both shots then.
That's exactly right. Exactly what I said earlier. Make the double peel.
Actually, if you hit it on this side just a bit.
No.
Just a little on this side, I think. Well,
Conference
just come into
time.
the nose here.
Then we're going to have two guards over here.
Huh?
Then we're going to have two guards on this side. Right? I guess we could use it.
You don't mind jamming that one?
Huh?
Shouldn't hurt us, I guess. Good.
I don't think we worry about that.
Okay, well, let's hit this 3/4. Throw it
But
up.
you're thinking of hitting this and rolling to here.
Well,
Like
no,
just
I was
coming
thinking
into a
maybe,
nose?
actually, can you do this? Knock that in the rings. Probably. I think that's
Actually,
a better
maybe if
option.
you just play half a rock on this one, that'll squirt in. Okay.
Let's play that. Up weight, eh?
Yep.
And your shooter should spin.
Half a rock, I think.
Huh?
Half a rock?
Or a quarter. Quarter does it too.
Yeah, I think it might squirt in. Because they're kind of frozen.
Throw up weight.
What?
She hits 3/4 of that yellow rock. She may just spin it off with her shooter and nudge the other rock belonging to Canada into the rings, closer to the ones in the forefoot.
Yep.
This is N7 with Norway lying 2.
Hurry.
Hurry! Hurry! Quick!
Can she spill the 2 stones out front? She gets the Norwegian stone and does roll
Hit thinner.
the Canadian rock into the rings.
But you know what, Don? She's completely taken away the in-turn side. Now, if Norway puts a guard on the center line, there's no chance for her to get in there, and there's no angle available on the front two rocks belonging to Canada. So if she can maybe drive back onto the shot rocks belonging to Norway.
Oh, she was wide.
See where those rocks are sitting, the two blue ones belonging to Canada. If Nordby puts it right on the tee line, the only shot they have is a run back.
That's okay.
Whereas if they had it rolled over a little bit more, another foot, at least she had the in-turn access to them.
Lang gå, bra retning.
Oh. Er den nedpå? Hold rent. Ja, ja, ja! Oh.
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 Well, she puts cover on the two stones in the forefoot.
Den må ha plukket den der i sted, altså. Det er en normal spillefart, da.
I think you still paid the run back.
Det ligger bra der.
You'll wait? Yeah, just coming into a roll? No. 3/4?
Den sier begge to åpne.
Even if I nose it, gets rid of one of those things.
Yeah.
She hits it on the high side here, drives it over here. She
less
may
than
make
3/4.
this rock, and this rock will go out here, and this one will
Less
spin
than
out over
3/4,
here.
I think. Because it's on an angle there.
Yeah.
And if she hits it straight back, she'll make a double.
So there's a possibility for Sandra Schmirler to remove all three yellow stones.
If she hits it correctly, if she hits about 3/4 of that rock
Hit it
out
good, we
in
can get
front,
that one off the butt.
she may make the triple and be lying two. Would you believe that?
Well, Sandra's had the golden touch all day.
It would certainly be a turnaround on this end.
What she doesn't want to do is hit almost 9/10 of that rock, drive it straight back, and just replace one of the ones in the forefoot. Now Norway's got two in there and a guard out in front.
That would be bad.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, she didn't throw that one very good. She hit that one well inside.
Yeah. No.
The two yellow stones in the rings remain untouched.
Didn't throw that very good. Tried to throw that too hard.
Yeah, you don't have to throw that much weight. Just,
Now we're in trouble.
Hun vil jo helt klart kunne gå på en av de da, men vi bare slenger opp en gard der.
That's where you want to put it, right there if you're Doherty Nordby. Never mind the top of the 12-foot. Put it in as tight as you can, half or 3/4 behind that rock that Sandra just threw, and there's a good chance you're going to score three. There's no sense in playing a long guard because Sandra will simply run one back onto those two. You might as well get them in tight to the forefoot.
Marianne vil ikke ha den inn i huset. Vi får få det som en mitt. Nå har jeg det. Samvart.
That was a terrible throw.
The final stone of this seventh end for Doherty Nordby. She is lying two. One rock remains to be delivered by Canada's Sandra Schmirler.
Hvor lang?
Nei, la den gå.
You should take it now right to the face of it.
Oh.
Right to the face of the rocks in the forefoot.
Norway now lies three.
Pretty good shot by Doherty Nordby.
På 12-foten, men Marianne vil ikke ha den på 8-foten.
Nei.
Det
er perfekt, den der.
Jeg ser ikke dobbelt. Dobbelt, ser jeg, men jeg ser ikke.
What kind of normal, like a little bit up, but not like what I just threw.
Yeah, actually, just throw normal weight.
You got to spin the.
Can't get to a nose, eh?
Yeah, you can see. Well, I don't need to get to the nose. I can hit probably 3/4 of it, because they're not. If I get to the nose, I don't make the double. because they're just edge.
Okay.
Still less.
If she really hammers that front one, what she can see,
Still a 2.
she may pin the top one,
Yeah.
and the other rock maybe just
But you
clip
can't
that
hit
one
the
at the
drive.
back. She could make a triple here, but I'm sure she's just playing for a very tough double. And this is a tough double.
No, that's not. I won't go that straight. I'll throw peel, but not that
I
much.
would sooner be two up, as opposed to
A little
only one
less.
up. So she has to make,
Little less.
even if she gives them 2, it's not bad.
Little
But she
less,
certainly
yeah.
doesn't want to give them 3.
Can't hit the guard.
Jan very hesitant about giving her any less ice there.
Just up weight.
Well, I think she threw the first rock badly inside. She doesn't want her to take too much ice and throw the same weight and have it flare out on her.
The final stone of end number 7. Canada leading by a score of 6-2, looking at 3 Norwegian stones. Oh, she moved the rocks and gets 2 of them out of there.
That was almost close to what I called. I said that if she hit it a little bit thinner, she makes the triple. And a big shot by Sandra Schmirler.
She allows Norway to steal 1, but it could have been worse. Canada still leads by 3.
Yeah, let's, okay.
Well, some say curling is a lot like chess on ice, and the game of chess is a very popular pastime in a downtown square in this beautiful city of Bern.
Well, Canada dodged a bit of a bullet there. They were a little bit of trouble. Sandra made 1 bad shot and 1 great shot. She almost made the triple Don to get out of that end and score 2. But 3 up playing the 8th end's pretty comfortable. They just got to relax, cool down a bit, and play their normal game. I know that Nordby's certainly disappointed that she didn't score more than 1 on that end, because it looked like she was going to get at least 2.
Well, there was a bit of a Canadian team meeting at the conclusion of end number 7, and I think they may have altered their strategy for the final 3 ends.
Don't have to, just for weight.
Way out there.
Okay. Just for weight.
No. No.
Can you go a bit?
Although they're playing it the same way, right in around the front.
Whoa. That's perfect.
Marcia, just like they did the first time, she made it perfectly again this time, just like she did last end.
Almost in the same spot in front of the tee line. And that's where they're going to generate the offense, in front of that tee line. And if they all make their shots perfectly, they should score 2.
And Canada will have last rock as the result of the Norwegian steal on end 7.
Canada did get a nice break with Dordy Nordby's last shot. You know, she was kind of broomed the shot for a guard, and yet then she came in and...
Well, that's why they should have swept it, Colleen. They should have swept it to pull it around that guard and take that away from Sandra Schmirler, but that wasn't the case.
Well, Sandra came very close with her final stone to getting all 3 Norwegian stones out of the rings.
Both of those rocks were in the free guard zone that belonged to Norway, the yellows. So
What do you like?
Sandra can't hit them.
That's what I'm thinking. But we can play it with quieter weight. Like, play the draw here. Okay. Move that over.
I like playing with more weight than just draw weight.
Which one do you
if you look very far. Oh yeah, at least.
They're deciding whether to draw into the face of that blue one. And if she's a little quiet, maybe kick one of those guards. Keep it in play because it's in the free guard zone, but just move it over a bit.
Well, Marcy Gooderite has been curling up a storm over the last few ends. She's now at 85%.
She's so steady. She's everything you want a lead to be. You know, her draws are always above the tee line. She just rarely misses. And together with Joe McCusker, they're a dynamite front end.
And the stone just touches the bumper.
That's about the middle of the rock, I think. It's totally on the...
Which means, of course, it has to go back.
Good?
Yep. That's fine. Yeah, just a smidge. Yeah.
Boy, that was close. They got on a little bit sooner. She does take it over to the edge. The boards stays in play, and it just touched the backboard, the sideboard. So it was very, very close to being a great shot.
God plass.
Forkant.
Lang gå, må køle litt. Bra redning.
Mot han.
Kom igjen. 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 Litt inn. Kom igjen. Kom igjen.
Boy, some solid work on the brushes by Kristen Loveseth, and Marianne Haslam got that Aspelin rock into the top of the 12.
Now, Canada's going to peel off the long guard, and that's a good call. That's the one Nordby's trying to draw around and behind, and could cause Canada a lot of problems.
Right over. More.
Good shot, Joan.
McCusker removes the top Norwegian rock. Canada still lies 1.
That's a good shot by Canada because it takes off the long guard. The 2 rocks in front belonging to Norway are in a position where Canada could maybe double them off, and they're still shot rock. So things aren't bad so far for Canada.
Bra redning.
Den litt lenger.
Pass på. Ja. Wow.
10.
Ja. Wow. Ta den videre. Kom igjen. Det er bra. Marianne.
Fin fart.
Marianne. Du er kjempefin på din innhand, og så driver du litt utover på din outhand.
A smidge, not a lot.
Trying to hit the outside one, roll across, make a double. She's going to end up being lying 2 here in behind cover. She's got to hit about a half a rock.
That's good.
She removes 1 Norwegian stone and nudges another a little further over off that center line.
Now Nordby's going to have to play the tap back just a bit into the 4-foot, get some rocks in position where maybe later on she can promote her with her second last rock or her last rock. Rocks very close to the rings, which is good for Canada.
As a team, Canada is curling at 81% through 7 ends, Norway at 72%.
That difference certainly is showing up on the scoreboard. Norway's just been a little bit off with half shots, and Canada's made some pistols.
Yes, they really have. But this one is going side. It looks like they're going to raise the Canadian rock in if it's got enough weight.
Ja, det er greit. Helt greit.
That doesn't help them a whole lot.
No, that rock really took off on the Norwegian third.
Yes, he's
Get rid of those rocks out in front, and they're lined up perfect.
Peel it out of there, peel weight.
She hits a half a rock. She's going to remove 2 Norwegian rocks, be lying 2, and maybe have cover.
Okay.
That was, unfortunately for Norway, that rock ended up in a bad position. It actually lined up those 3 rocks in front.
I think so.
Almost a nose, eh?
Sandra
Nose is good
Schmirler
too. Nose works.
just checking
I guess
the
you don't
angle.
want to hit it too.
We don't want to hit it too high.
She doesn't want to hit it too thin, but if she hits half a rock, 3/4 a rock, full rock, she's going to come out of this shot all right.
Peel?
Yeah.
Peel weight.
Yeah.
Yep. Hurry! Whoa. Good, John.
There it is. Canada lies 2.
er på.
And Marianne Haslam has got to make amends for that last rock on because she really lined them up for Canada. I don't know whether she turned it inside or whether she never had enough weight. Just watch the concentration on it. Look at her. Watch her eyes. They never leave the broom. They actually look like they're looking up, but they look straight ahead. Then she looks down at the rock as soon as she lets it go.
Yep.
Good concentration.
Kom igjen, bra retning!
Whoa!
Ja, fart, ja! Ja!
Whoa!
Out!
Oh, is that a nice shot? Oh, that's a beautiful shot.
Moment of redemption for Marianne Haslam, the Norwegian third.
On the nose. On the nose, I think.
Bra skippa denne.
3/4.
Marianne.
You don't want to hit it too hard. You don't want to hit it hard.
Blå, gul. Til høyre. Ser du den retningen? Hvis du setter den ned der.
Jeg ser det her også. Den er feis.
Det kommer litt an på om det forsvinner det der foran da.
Ja.
Jan Betker, she
Men
has
ligger
to
de
hit
helt innpå hverandre?
the rock on the high side.
Ser den ned?
Well, you can't hit half a stone. It just jumps it to there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, even if I...
Nose is good.
Nose or high side. She certainly doesn't want to hit it on the inside going across the face of it. She may end up taking out her own.
Yep. Whoa, whoa. Yes! Quick! Good, Jen.
Ah, great curling shot.
Well, Jan Betker has come through with two big shots on this eighth end. Canada lies 3 as a result.
That was a wonderful curling shot by
Good
Jan
shot.
Betker. Sets it up.
Just leaves
Canada line 3. The only unfortunate thing for Canada is
the,
that
back
rock
button,
in the button
but,
is behind
you
the
know,
tee line.
What are you going to do, hey?
There's a little bit of cover there, so for Doherty Nordby, she can freeze to that rock.
Higher, a little bit.
Straight ahead telestrator is perfect.
What do you mean?
Well, if I hit it more on this side, it might make it more covered, or not really.
No, I don't know. You would have had to hit that.
That's where she wants to come to, right in that position there.
Well, I guess we would have rolled your
The big
shooter
thing is
more,
she
which
wants to
would-
tuck it in behind that rock belonging to Canada in the top of the 12-foot. She cannot afford to leave it open.
Yeah, that would have been good to hit it.
Hva er det jeg skulle si? Nå
And
ligger
that's the
den
danger of that
blå
rock
ligger
going
bak
behind the tee line.
Ja? Så det er ikke
Just about the
nødvendig med noe
nose, eh?
fart eller noe sånt i stedet.
Yeah. Hit 3/4, we roll. Yeah, and we don't leave this shot.
Og hvis den blir for kort og rundt, så er det ganske
But we always have the run back on line if
Yeah.
we have to play it.
ikke blir for ivrig.
Well, it was a fairly perfect shot for Jen, but they're still looking at a way that they might have been able to make it better so that they
They made a
didn't
nice
leave
shot bump in that.
Doherty
back
Nordby
line.
with this freeze.
Ikke for ivrig!
Nordby with a very deliberate hand movement off the rock as she approaches the hog line.
Må nedpå. Hun kører mye.
Nå begynner den! Nå kommer den!
She's got the weight, it's just a question of line.
Oh.
Ja!
Didn't bend as much as she had hoped.
Oh, she had perfect weight too, it just never came enough.
It's really been the story for Norway, though. I mean, just half shots, so close to the right shot, not quite.
Ja, litt for langt, liksom. Det er like godt begge veier nå. But then we might have if she sticks it.
Well, if you want to end the curling game, what you do is you come down here, hit this one, and roll right to there,
On top of it?
and leave Norway no shot. The thing you can't afford to do is hit and stay right there,
Great.
because then there's 2 rocks for Nordby to freeze to.
Well, actually, it is. If,
The
well,
safe
thing is,
shot.
The only bad thing is if I have to hold it there.
Well, and if he knows it, she taps it back and
Yeah.
does that. I like this
I
better.
like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Make her make
We'll still have a shot for one anyway, regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 3/4?
Yeah, let's try and get rid of that one, but let's try and keep the shooter in the 4-foot somewhere, eh? Like just right here.
So if you want to end the game, you go to the inside roll, a perfect inside roll.
It looks like a nose. Get the little flip.
Okay.
If you want to play conservative, and the game
get
still may be
3/4
over,
of it
because
and
if you
get rid
hit
of
and roll
that
to the
back one.
outside, you're lying 3 still.
Hvis du flytter den blå som ligger bak deg.
Well, no, because then it's sitting behind the button now. If we can get rid of the whole thing, that's the best. We just can't hit it too thin. And we like to keep the shooter like just on the side of the 4-foot. hit 3/4 of this. Just normal, eh?
Okay, yep.
Canada leading by a score of 6-3 playing this 8th end. Canada with the last rock advantage.
Yep. Go around. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yes!
Whoa.
Pretty good.
Oh, she could have rolled just maybe another inch and a half. Nordby had no shot.
Just gotta move it. Good shot.
I don't know how she moves it. The thing is, can she get shot off it?
Even if she does move it, how does Dorothy Nordby get shot?
It's a little more of a flip, eh?
Well, if she skinnies the guards, back forward.
Two options. She can come down in here and just tap this rock just back to the back forefoot.
That was set up the whole time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Or she can play exactly what they're looking at. Right into there. Double raise onto the one in the forefoot.
I like
the first one better.
Absolutely. A little bit more room on the outturn side.
Nei, det går ikke. Det går ikke. Det går ikke.
Could it be that Canada scored 2 5-enders in the World Championship final?
Hvis den da går i garden, så...
Men hvorfor er du så redd for det? Jeg har precis tanta til Hepstad, så jeg kan jo sende den tvers gjennom. Vi må jo bare prøve. Det eneste jeg må si er at hvis vi drar en frys på den, så får vi 2 rygger. Det er det eneste, akkurat klin samme stein.
Doherty likes the option of just coming down to it on the outturn and bumping it back just a little bit to create a little bit of a wall. Now she's calling the front end down to take a look at it.
Ja, jeg stopper den sånn som jeg har garantert den her. Jeg har innmari lyst til å gå på den blå og så på den gule.
Ja, den ligger der.
Ja, det mener jeg, men Marianne er ikke helt med på her. Jeg sier, hvis jeg går på den her, så vil hun ganske garantert ligge med den.
Ja.
Hvis vi får det trøkket inn på denne steinen der, så ligger vi stjernebra an.
Vi ligger klin bak gard og kan få dobbeltbånd.
Ja, og vi kan treffe alt fra midten av den blå steinen, og så til siden. Så sånn så kan vi gå på med hackfart, altså. 15.
Doherty now seems to like the in-turn tap up.
Ja, da går vi på med vanlig take, da. Sikt på der. Sikt på der, da, så blir du ikke så nervøs.
She's actually talking about a takeout
Det er ikke køl over.
Well, if she hits it, it's lined up. If she hits it on the high side, she'll drive it right back onto that rock in the forefoot. She cannot afford to come across the face on that rock, or it's going to be a free draw for Canada for 4, 4-3, 4-5.
She's playing takeout weight. She's playing the raise.
Yep. She has to hit it on the high
Da
side.
blir vi enige om 12. Jeg spiller 13.
Ja.
Well, this could be the game right here.
Rolig. Wow! Wow!
Oh. Pass på!
Wow!
Oh.
Oh, what a shot! Oh!
Well, she loves to try them, and she can make them. A great shot by Doherty Nordby.
Her brother Ivor applauds the shot by sister Doherty.
What a wonderful curling shot that was. It's unbelievable. They were lined up. You see it here. She has to hit it on the high side. She absolutely hits it perfect to get it by that one in the 12-foot. Moves one to the back of the forefoot to end up shot rock.
Just a trifle more outside, and she wrecks on that stone up front.
Absolutely.
Skål.
Well, she's always relaxed and quite a personality. And what a shot she has just made.
Yeah, we have a good chance with the red back.
the same weight I just threw.
Sandra just trying to hit what she can see there.
Trying to pick it out of there.
If she can pick it out, she can pick up 3.
Yeah! Hurry! Quick!
She never got out there.
Hurry!
Are they past the guard?
No, I think they're on the guard.
They couldn't get it by the Canadian stone out front, so it's a steal of 1. And this game isn't over, folks. Despite the 5 on N5, Norway has fought back. And with 2 ends remaining, it's a 2-point game. Canada in front.
Didn't get out to the stick. No, it's just tight.
That's the trophy they're playing for in this 1997 Ford World Women Curling Championship. And it's Canada leading by a score of 6-4 as the result of a big 5 on the 5th end. But Norway has fought back with steals of 1 on each of the 7th and 8th. And it's a 2-point game as we play M9.
They certainly are able to pick away at the lead, but one of the other things, Norway, by stealing the ends, is able to establish the play with the first rock and get that rock out front.
Look like lots to you, John.
Well, Canada was in great shape that end, with the exception of a great shot by Nordby. Because if she doesn't make that one, the game is definitely over.
T-line, baby. No, don't want T-line.
It shows you that she's a competitor and she's going to scrap till the last rock is thrown.
That's good. Shot, Mars.
Nice weight, Mars.
And Marcia, for the 3rd end in a row, has just made a perfect come around above the tee line and in nicely.
And a good call here by Nordby. She's not going to go in after it. She wants to steal 1 more point, so she's throwing up another guard and saying, okay, Canada, you go in again, then I'm going to go in and make you waste rocks by running off the front stones.
Bra redning! Bra fart! Her omtrent!
Well, what a difference the free guard zone has made to curling, not only in Canada, where we use the 3-rock rule, but in international curling, where they use the 4-rock rule. Because when teams are down, as Nordby was by a score of 6-1, they do have the opportunity to fight back.
That's exactly right. Every end is a different game. You can score big early, and you can still get back in the game. Whereas before, if you were up 6-1, you just simply ran the rocks and ran everything off.
In the past, it was peel, peel, peel. Sometimes when a team got up by only 1.
Yes.
More than that, baby. 3!
Take our own out.
Atta girl. Good shot, Mars.
That's the shot she was attempting earlier on the previous end, but she just moved the stone a little too far. This time she moves the Norwegian stone over a couple of feet. The shooter rolls on through.
Well, it's still very much in play for Norway, too. So while it was a good effort at the chip shot, if she had moved it another 2.5 feet, it would be absolutely perfect.
That's not bad, though. It's off the center line, and that's very critical for Canada. They got to keep access to that 4-foot open so that if it doesn't work out for Sandra, she can at least draw for 1.
See?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, the thing I noticed about this Norway team, the last couple 3 ends, boy, they've had their draw weight.
Well, we talked about the good shooting of Marcy Gooderite with her first stone of the last 3 ends. Marianne Aspelin has done a pretty good job at second stone for Norway with her first rock.
Well, yep. 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 Hurry! Hurry, run, Mars, hurry! Right over, right over, right over.
And you hear Sandy Schmirler yelling to Joan or to Jan to sweep it over, get it over off the 4-foot area. Keep that area, that path open for me.
The seconds, Aspelin and McCusker have the lowest percentages of the 8 curlers on the ice.
Nordby being very patient here, just wanting another rock out front. Doesn't want to play the race take out too early.
She's trying to score 1 in 9, 1 in 10, and 1 in 11. That's exactly her strategy. She's being very patient.
Det bra. Litt til nå. Kom igjen! Kom igjen! Kom igjen! Kom igjen! Kom igjen! Bra.
And for Canada, simply remove the guards. Get them out of the way. Don't block the forfeit area.
Kjempefint fart.
McCusker is after the guard, sitting on the center line.
She may come over here on this other one. Moves it at least a little bit closer to the center line, so things are not great for Norway right now, but they've got a plan in mind here. They want to get a center guard up and hopefully tap back theirs onto the Canadian rock and lie too.
Lango!
Bra retning.
Pass på, dere må ta den litt nå. Kom igjen. Wow. Nei, bare Lango. Wow. Stopper den der? Der. Sånn. Med denne. Når skal vi gå på den gule og den blå, og i hvilken fart?
Well, the two youngest Norwegian fans in the crowd are just a little weary as the clock approaches 10:30 or beyond 10:30 here in Bern.
Those are Nordby's nephews too, so they were pretty keen at the beginning of the game for their aunt, but
good, Jan. Nice shot.
They're fading.
Good shot by Jan Betcher. Anytime you roll a rock off the front, take your shooter with it. That's a good shot. Nordby eventually is going to have to make a play on this because Canada is shot rock. And she's asking Marianne Haslam to do that right now. Little tap back. Hoping maybe that Canada jams the Jan Betcher's rock.
Oh. Oh.
Wow. Pass på.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah!
Kom igjen!
Well, Canada still has the shot rock, but there are two Norwegian stones in the rings behind cover.
That's an excellent shot. At least puts the rocks in position. They got two behind cover. They've opened up the rock, access to the Canadian rock in the forefoot.
How much of it again?
Touch less. Yep. Okay.
Lots of room between the guard, and that's the trouble with long guards. You can go by it by 4 or 5 inches and still hit half or 3/4 of a rock. So for Jan Betcher, the key here is weight. She doesn't want to overthrow it, doesn't want to underthrow it.
Well,
She has been out curling her Norwegian counterpart by quite a wide margin. By the guard and onto the Norwegian stone. Canada lies two.
Oh, excellent shot by Jan Betcher. They should have really been on it a little bit earlier, Dawn, to sweep it and get a bigger roll behind the corner guard. Maybe just a little late in sweeping it.
Well, Jan didn't think she could
nice shot, Jan. Sorry,
hit as much of the rock as she did.
That thick after I got by the guard. Like I didn't think it would move that hard. Okay, well.
Now for Nordby. She can make a double here, Dawn, and roll behind the corner guard to lie two.
Yeah.
Tenkte du kunne slå og rulle på den første, for jeg tror hun har litt sånn småpanikk for våre stender.
She did mention how she wants to roll behind the corner guard. It's just a question of which corner guard.
Yeah.
The yellow one out in front or the blue one out in front?
I don't think she's going to roll behind the corner guard. She may hit and roll out of.
Whoa! Whoa!
Well, the stone is going to hang on the edge of the 12. Canada still lies one.
Det er greit, altså. Det er for hun er nødt til å finne på noe. Det er for hun er nødt til å finne på noe. Egentlig så gjør det ikke så mye, for hun er nødt til å finne på noe.
Hæ?
Jeg sier, egentlig så gjør det ikke så mye å rulle vekk der, for hun er nødt til å finne på noe. Og jeg måtte likevel ha gjort noe.
As long as her second shot.
Yeah.
You don't like playing right here, eh?
Don't want to leave her a double.
Doherty's just talking about how she's not that disappointed with the outcome of that shot. To hang on was good, and she's just trying to figure out what to do with her next shot now.
You can go top 8 over there, that's good.
Yeah. Second shot.
The best guard in curling is second shot. The critical part for Sandra here is that she wants to make sure, Don, that she pulls it behind the guard and does not set up a double for Doherty Nordby.
Same weight as...
The difficulty for Sandra is that she hasn't thrown many draws.
I believe the 5th end was her last draw.
That's when she drew for 5 to take what appeared to be a commanding 6-1 lead.
One more. Okay, is that better? Okay, we need full, just sliding the 8-foot behind there would be perfect. Same weight as it's been.
Well, you want to make sure that this rock is full in the 8-foot, because if Nordby hits the rock on the button and rolls to the right-hand side behind cover, she'll still be in the 8-foot.
Line's fine. Lots of room. Line's okay. Need a bite of the 8-foot, guys. Whoa line.
Line's fine.
Okay, whoa line.
Your line is perfect. It's just a question of weight.
Got lots of weight, eh?
No. Take it back. Don't leave that double.
Yeah.
Don't take it too far back. You leave the other double. Oh, I never moved very much for her. It was well by the guard. She just widened up the broom a little bit.
Is the other double there for Nordby?
No good.
Well, it's nice weight. We just needed less ice.
That's right. You need a little bit less ice. I don't think the double's there.
Men den skal curle helt over dit, altså. Ikke noe panikk.
Nei. Den der, jeg vet det. Skjøt det. Sounded like she was just going to attempt the hit and roll here and not the double.
Well, I don't think she can hit enough of the shot rock and get over and push the other one out of the rings.
Så har du et problem. Hva som var farten?
You know, she set out this whole lane to steal one, and she has a chance here if she hits and rolls over to that rock belonging, the second shot rock belonging to Canada.
This is Nordby's final stone of the 9th end.
She got a ton of weight. She's not going to hit. She's not going to get any kind of a roll. She may roll, but the opposite way. No, she's going to hit it right on the nose.
So now a chance for Sandra Schmirler to remove the Norwegian stone and pick up 2 and head home leading by 4. Atina Ford, who is the 5th player, and the coach Anita Ford and Lindsay Sparks, the team leader, all looking a little more relaxed right now than they were earlier on this end.
Well, this rock has not made contact yet, but
just control.
You heard Sandra saying just control. She doesn't want to overthrow it. She doesn't want to underthrow it. Just come out smooth like you have all year. Release the rock. Don't finger it at the end. Just let it flow out of your hands.
Okay, let's make it.
Giving herself a little pep talk.
Yep. Clean. Whoa. Clean. Clean. Yep. Yep. Whoa.
When they're yelling, whoa, yeah, whoa, that, you know that it's going to be close, and Canada will get 2. And with 1 end remaining, it's Canada leading by a score of 8-4. And that rock, the final stone of this 9th end, delivered by Sandra Schmirler, could seal her 3rd World Championship. Canada leads by 4 as we get set for the final end.
Okay, let's work.
Welcome back to Bern, Switzerland. This was the reaction of Sandra Schmirler as she was able to remove the Norwegian stone with her final rock at the 9th end to pick up a pair and lead by a score of 8-4. 4 teams have engraved their name on the World Championship trophy on 2 occasions. Sandra Schmirler is on the threshold of becoming the first to do it 3 times. She leads by 4. The first rock of this 10th end by lead Marcy Gooderite fired right through.
Same way. What are we throwing?
Sweden, of course, throwing up the corner guards. Canada will throw the next one through as well.
Oh, normally.
And I'm sure Dordy Nordby will throw up a corner guard on the other side, hoping that she gets 3 or 4 breaks and try and tie this game. But you know,
just to the line.
when Sandra Schmirler threw that last rock down, you know, that's what skips are all about. You know, she had this game well in control. It was slipping a bit, and she had a little unfortunate shot in the 8th end. But you know, that's an inborn thing, being a skip. Being able to go down there and throw that rock and hit it on the nose to score 2 and take control of a game. You can't teach that. That's inborn. That's being a competitor.
And she will be quite happy to see this curling season come to an end as she can return home to Regina and concentrate on her firstborn, as she and her husband Shannon England are expecting their first child in September.
Then they can look forward to a very hectic next season because of course, of the Olympic trials in Brandon, and then they're back at the Scott in Regina.
And now the Canadian team can go after those Norwegian stones sitting just in across the hog line.
Yes! Hurry!
Marilyn Bodo in 86 and 96. Elizabeth Gustafsson of Sweden in 92 and 95. Dordy Nordby of Norway in 90 and 91. And of course, Sandra Schmirler in 93 and 94. The 2-time winners of the World Championship. And unless there's a remarkable turn of events here on this 10th end, the Schmirler foursome will become the first to win the World Championship trophy 3 times.
Well, they're a total team. They won in 93, 94, missed in 95 and 96, stayed together, went after it again, and here they are, 5 rocks away from being world champions.
It's probably been the key to their success, the fact that they have stayed together for so long. They know each other's idiosyncrasies. They're each other's best friends, as you heard during the opening.
When we met with the team last night, the first thing they did was haul out baby pictures.
One or the other.
Whoa! That's good.
Good.
And I know every time Sandra Schmirler brings the rocks to behind the hack, she starts counting them. Well, there's 2 yellow ones there, so they can only score 6 now.
Good shot.
Yep.
Well, it's rare to see a 5-ender in a championship game in either women's or men's World Championship play, but it occurred here on the 5th end when Canada was able to crack the big 5, and that really propelled Canada on its way to what appears to be an apparent victory.
Body 5. Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in.
It's a pretty good camera.
Yes, he needed a couple of those earlier on in the game. Absolutely. Hit the shot, Rod.
No.
Well, they might not be able to get 4 behind there, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many rocks are there?
4 more. Okay.
All I have to do is make that and 1 peel. Yeah,
absolutely. Don't even think about the peel.
Go after the one you can see.
Absolutely.
Yep. Quick. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's fine. That's good. They got to deal with that one.
Well, Nordby is going to continue to try and put stones behind the long guard.
Well, you know, you never give up. Even though you're 4 down coming home, played all year, all your life to get into this position, you're not going to quit. And that's what Nordby's made of. She's a competitor. And she'll be back again.
She is just about every year.
Yes. And we're going to see Olympic Games in Japan next February because she has already qualified to represent Norway.
A little hot there.
Now, the best they can do is tie.
Matter what turn?
And I don't think Doherty's too happy with that one.
No, just make Canada's job a lot easier.
Whoa! 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 Clean! 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 Atta girl, Dan, way to go.
Dan Betker removes that long guard, and now there's nothing to hide behind, but it doesn't really matter. Norway has to put all 3 remaining stones in the rings. Just to tie.
Try that thing.
And this will go in the record book as an 8-4 win for Canada.
Yeah.
Kom igen. Hard. Kom igen. Kom igen now. Kom igen.
Well, you may be just slightly premature in making that statement, but
Kom igen. Kom igen.
when the next stone is delivered, it could become reality.
Vad kan jag tävla med först på det?
This is the culmination of a big year.
And you know,
a lot of practice.
And Don, for the Schmirler rink, they could be back at the World Championships in Kamloops again next year because as the Scott Tournament of Heart Champions this year, they get an automatic berth back to the Scott Tournament next year in Regina, in their hometown.
And let's watch Schmirler the curler make history. Right here live.
Her first stone of the 10th end. All she has to do is remove that yellow rock and it's all over.
Yep. 3. 3. 3.
It's there. She knows it. The smile on her face tells the story. An historic evening in Bern, Switzerland for these Canadian women champions. The first time any women's team has won 3 world titles. And that distinction belongs to Marcy Gooderite, Joan McCusker, Janice Betker, and skip Sandra Schmirler. 5th player Atina Ford and coach Anita Ford. Tears of happiness for these Canadian champions from the Caledonia Curling Club in Regina, heading home on Tuesday with a 3rd World Championship.
The Ford World Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. By AT&T. In a world of long distance, there is only one true choice. By Labatt. Good things brewing. And by CIBC. Seeing beyond.
Well, the game actually ended on the 9th, but it was the first stone of the 10th end that enabled the Canadian champions to celebrate a third World Championship here in Bern, Switzerland. Tears of joy, hugs, and congratulations abound down at ice level. Tony Schoen, a former member of the World Organizing Committee, and then the Canadian men's champions down at ice level to congratulate the newly crowned World Women's Champions as they defeat Norway by a score of 8-4. Bern, Switzerland has not been kind to Canadian men in 3 World Championships held here, but in the first attempt at winning a world title on the women's side, Sandra Schmirler and her Canadian champions realized their dream. 8-4, Canada defeats Norway to become the first women's rank to win 3 world titles. And now we join the presentation ceremonies with MC Jörg Haas.
Und die Plätze 4 bis 10. Sweden. Platz 6, Deutschland, Germany. Platz 7, United States of America, die USA. Platz 8, Finnland. Platz 9, Schottland, Scotland. Und wir sind anständige Gastgeber. Platz 10, die Schweiz, Switzerland.
The Swiss team not getting off to a very good start. Didn't make the playoffs.
4. Platz, 4th, Japan, Japan.
But a very impressive performance by the team from Japan, a young team, and of course, as host nation, they will have a team in the Olympic Games next year.
Norway,
well, lost the bronze medal playoff, and that's great for Japan.
Canada,
speaks well for curling.
Canada.
Sandra Schmirler and her Caledonia curling crew from Regina came in favored to win the gold medal, and they delivered. Denmark wound up in the bronze medal position as the result of their victory earlier today over Japan. But the gold medal for a 3rd time will hang from Sandra Schmirler's neck.
Ladies and gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, die Weltmeisterin 1997, ladies and gentlemen, World Champion 1997, after 93 and 94. Canada, Canada. Skip Sandra Schmirler. 3rd, Jan Vector. 2nd, John McCusker. Lead, Marcia Goodray. And all the way, Atina Ford. Gold medal. Die Medaillen werden nun von der Präsidentin des kanadischen Curling-Verbandes, Pat Reed, übergeben. The medals are presented by the President of the Canadian Curling Association, Pat Reed.
And what a happy moment for this woman who has done such a fine job this year in her role as president of the Canadian Curling Association.
Hold up, Sandra.
In her term as president, Dawn Pat has had some difficult situations to deal with, but she has, I think, done a wonderful job.
She's been a marvelous president for the Canadian Curling Association, and we can only hope that she stays on in some capacity in curling, because she's a wonderful person and a great administrator.
Runner-up of the 1997 World Curling Championships, Norway. World Champions 90 and 91, Norway. Die Medaillen werden nun von einem Mann präsentiert, der hier in Bern schon Geschichte geschrieben hat. Der Weltmeister 1979 in Bern, Präsident des norwegischen Curling-Verbandes, Christian Sorum.
Yes, it was here in Norway, or in Bern, Switzerland, I should say, that Christian Sorum of Norway won his world championship. And he is the president of the Norwegian Curling Association, and he'll be accompanying this Norwegian team to to Japan for the Olympic Games in February. For a nation that only has 6 sheets of curling ice, Norway hasn't done bad at the World Championship level.
Well, they've raised some great curlers there. Eigelr and Spelkan, of course, Christian Sorum, world champion.
And Nordby, twice. The champion twice.
To the world champion, 82, Denmark. Skip third, Margit Pertner. Second, Dorte Holm. Lead, Lisa Richardson. Alternate, Jene Bistro. The bronze medals are presented by the president of the Danish Curling Association, Niels Larsen.
And Canada had a tough time with this Danish women's team in the semi-final last night before finally prevailing by a score of 6-4.
Well, they played very, very well. You know, a break here and a break there, but it was a tough game for Sandra Schmirler from Canada to beat the Danes. But I think that game really set it up for how well they played today.
In contrast, Norway had a rather easy time defeating Japan 12-5. And then in the bronze medal game earlier today, Denmark defeated Japan.
Bronze medal, congratulations to Denmark. And now, the trophy for the world champions from Canada, presented by the president of the World Curling Federation,
An historic moment in world curling. The first time any team has won the Women's Championship 3 times.
Vizepräsidenten des Organisationskomitees der Weltmeisterschaften 1997 Bern von Marc Lüthi übergeben.
No, with the little mama. No. We've done this before. It's too heavy.
The bottom is its base is just asking so much weight.
And now, flowers for the ladies' teams. Canada, world champion.
While flowers abound in this beautiful city, the capital of Switzerland, wherever you stroll throughout the city, spring flowers in abundance.
Norway, runner-up. Third and bronze medal for Denmark. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the national anthem of Canada.
A very proud moment for these women from the Caledonia Curling Club in
Herzlichen
Regina
Dank, meine
for
Damen und
the
Herren,
third time
für Ihre
Women's
Aufmerksamkeit.
World Curling
Wir
Champions. We'll
möchten
talk
Sie
to
da
you when we
erinnern
return.
darauf.
And welcome back to Bern, an historical city and an historical win for Sandra Schmirler and her Canadian rink as they become the first women's team to win 3 world titles with an 8-4 win over Norway. And how does that feel, a 3-time world champion?
Well, I guess for Canada, you dreamed to play in this thing once. Twice was unbelievable, but to come back after a couple of years away and to win it again is just hard to believe.
How did you keep the hungriness up?
I don't know. I think it's just part of who we are. It's that inborn nature that all the players have on the team, that if you're going to play, you got to play the best you can, and it just happens to be this is the level that we play at.
You know, after the 5th end and you cracked the 5 in the 5th end to really crack the game open, and we kind of thought it might be a cakewalk, but Norway certainly made it a little bit difficult for you.
Yeah, well, the 7th end, we made a bad shot, and then they just kept putting the pressure on. We didn't mind giving them one there,
But in the 8th end, she made another great shot, and I didn't throw the pick good enough. But we, like Joan said, you know, if you were 2 up playing 9 with hammer in a world final, would you take that? Anybody would. So we just wanted to make sure we scored in 9.
You've won all your world championships on European soil. Now, what would it be like to go to Canada and win a world title next year in Kamloops?
Well, Canadian soil, you would see every seat in this place just packed. And we were in Brandon when Connie played there, and it was just an unbelievable electricity in the building. But there was a good crowd here, probably the best crowd we've ever played at a world championship. The committee did a fabulous job, and we were just really happy to be here.
Congratulations, Sandra. And of course, we're looking forward to seeing you next year back at the Scott in Regina, your home turf, I might add. The Olympic trials in Brandon, too. You could be actually an Olympic champion next time we're talking to you. You know, oh my goodness, it just never ends, I guess.
Well, it's got to end sometime.
No, I don't think so. Say hello to everybody back at the Caledonia.
Hello, everyone at the Cali, and hi, Shannon. Be back soon.
All right. No kidding. We'll be back to talk to Dordy Nordby. Congratulations, Sandra. World champion once again, 3 times. And welcome back to Bern. Dordy Nordby from Norway on the losing end of the game to Canada's Sandra Schmirler. One of them was going to win it 3 times, and unfortunately for you today, it was Sandra. But you guys have had some great battles over the year, and if you take away that 5th end, it would have been a great game.
Yeah, for sure. The girls still mean that it picked something in the 5th end, but we didn't play anything well in the 5th end. So, but the rest of the game, I think, if you had taken away the 5th end, it would look much nicer.
Well, we'd go erase it for you if we could. But tell me, Dordy, bronze last year, silver this year. Would it be gold in Kamloops for you for next year?
Like Schwarzenegger says, we'll come back.
No kidding, you sure will. Also, you're guaranteed to be in the Olympics in Japan, so you must already be looking forward to that enormously.
Yeah, for sure. We are playing in the Olympic. We are guaranteed playing there, so we have to practice a lot so we don't get another 5th end.
No kidding. All right, Dordy, nice watching you again today, as always, and we'll be back to hear what the Dons think about today's game after this. And Team Alberta's path to Switzerland began. Playing in front of record crowds at the Saddle Dome, they clinched the Labatt Brier, Kevin's 2nd title. That set the stage for a return to the Worlds, one of the few championships to elude the talented Alberta skip. Things were going along well until the semi-final. They were playing Sweden's Peter Lindholm, and in the 7th end, it looked like Canada would break the game open until Lindholm made a perfect freeze. Kevin threw some heat at it, but that yellow rock refused to budge. Sweden stole a point. Then in the 8th end, Martin in great shape for a deuce, but Lindholm making a seemingly impossible double takeout. Lady Luck was with Sweden. Martin simply drew for his point that end. Then in the 9th end, after Martin made a great freeze, Lindholm simply makes a soft tap for a pair and a 2-point lead coming home. And in the 10th, Canada could only watch as Lindholm finishes off Team Canada with a routine takeout. This will give Sweden the victory. And so Kevin Martin and his Canadian rink graciously accept their fate. World success still eludes Martin, and a chance for a 5th straight world title for Canada is over.
Overall, I can't feel too bad, really. What do you do when you get beat by a guy that's on fire? It's unfortunate, I guess, that we picked the wrong time to play him, but there's nothing we can do.
Scotland's Hammy McMillan was upset in the other men's semi-final. Andy Capp and his German crew knocked them off, running Scotland out of rocks here in the 10th end. So now Andy Capp will try to give Germany their first men's world title. Standing in his way, though, is Peter Lindholm, who considers Canada his second home.
Canadian Maple Leafs. Love Canada. It's a beautiful country.
Yes, he says the people in Manitoba pretty much adopted him. So everybody was expecting a Canada-Scotland final in the men's tomorrow, but we've got Germany, Sweden, two hot shooters with their thoughts on tomorrow's game. We go to Don Duguid and Don Whitman now.
Well, in looking ahead, Colleen, to tomorrow's game, it's the first time, Don, that these two nations, Sweden and Germany, have ever faced each other in a World Championship final.
Well, that's right, and it's going to be an exciting game because they both like to make big shots, and they usually make them. Lindholm yesterday against Canada was outstanding. I mean, we saw 2 or 3 shots, but he made them throughout the whole game. And on the other sheet, Andy Capp was just was a circus. He made every hit and roll possible to beat Scotland.
Many people thought it would be a Canadian-Scottish final, but it is Sweden against Germany, and as Kevin Martin said after the game, he can't feel too badly because Peter Lindholm made absolutely everything in yesterday's semi-final game. And of course, in the bronze medal game tomorrow, it will be Kevin Martin playing for the bronze medal. He'll be going against Macmillan of Scotland. These two teams were expected to battle for the gold medal, but that was not the case. So we'll be around tomorrow with that game at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Sweden against Germany for the gold medal here at the World Championship.
Welcome back to Bern for the Ford World Curling Championships as we wrap things up from the women's final today. Canada with a big 8-4 win over Nordby's Norway foursome. That's kind of hard to say. History for Sandra Schmirler, the third time they have been able to win the world title. No team, women's team, has been able to do that before. When you think of the future of this great team from the Caledonia Curling Club from Regina, you can only wonder, when will it end? Sandra knows it's going to end sometime, but holy, they go to the Scott Tournament of Hearts in Regina next year. They're at the Olympic trials as well in Brandon next November as they try to represent Canada at the Olympic Championships. The future for this team is just awesome. And the key that has held this whole team together is that they are just such strong friends. They've curled together for so long. Now, for all the hockey fans out there, we want to tell you what's up for Hockey Night in Canada tonight. Of course, it's Game 2 of Round 1 of the playoffs. Canadians will visit New Jersey. If you're watching in Quebec on East, and Ottawa Senators will clash with the Sabres. And of course, join us tomorrow here for the Ford World Curling Championships, the men's final. Germany, of course, is facing Sweden. That's it for now for all of us here from CBC Sports. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow here from Bern.
CBC Sports, home of the champions.